Mortgage One Studios, live with Russ Clark and Greg Wilkinson stopped in. It's Friday.
It is Friday.
You got golfing today?
No, not today.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
And the weather's perfect.
Oh, it is.
My gosh.
It's been really nice the last couple of weeks.
I don't know what the temperature is out this morning. It's like 70 degrees or something.
Yeah.
Like wow.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I was worried there for a while when it got hot early, but it
did.
went away.
And everybody was screaming global warming.
Yeah.
They don't say anything when it's cooler than normal.
Yeah.
Just want to point out the hot spots.
Right.
Support it. It's 57 out right now.
Really?
I knew it felt good. It felt crisp.
Yeah.
Opened up the doors this morning over at the house and let the house cool off a lot.
Yeah. We always open up the front door and
yeah.
Yep.
It's a good day for. So if you're listening, go open up your front door and cool off. Don't
open up the windows.
Don't pay for the air conditioning.
Yeah.
As much as you can. Oh yeah, I just checked. My fact checker always sends me, not always, but most days. He picks a few articles he's interested in and pops over to me, which I'm very grateful for. He sees stuff I don't. We both saw the same one this morning. Because that's the first one he sent to me right away. A U.S. Special Forces soldier that's in trouble for making bets. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it had to do with Monero when they went in and took Nicolas Maduro, and took him out of Venezuela. Apparently, there was a bet going on, through Polymarket. You've heard of Polymarket. Polymarket's a gambling thing.
Right.
We can bet on who gets elected or what happens in anything. Well, there was some gambling going on about whether or not the U.S. would go into Venezuela, whether they'd be able to get Maduro out and all that kind of stuff. So this guy was in charge of the communications. He was a communications specialist supporting Joint Special Operations Command, the unit that oversees Tier 1 special mission units such as the Army Delta Force, the Navy SEAL Team 6. Multiple officials apparently said that's our guy. He placed bets on Polymarket, to that we would be able to get Maduro out. He did that after Maduro was already out, but nobody knew it.
Yeah.
So he gets on Polymarket and drops $33,000.
Wow.
So he probably went into his savings account.
Inside info.
Yeah. You think?
Yeah.
You think? Well, he was able to grab the winnings of $409,000.
Okay.
Now he's got a lot of legal problems.
That's kind of an interesting one.
What
they're going to do with that?
I would never guess. Yeah. He also made 3 additional bets. He put a $1,000 wager on the U.S. invading Venezuela January 31st, a $250 wager that Mr. Trump would invoke the War Powers Act against Venezuela by January 31st, and a $146 wager on U.S. forces would land in Venezuela by the end of the month. He did all that after it was already done. but he had top secret clearance and knew all this stuff.
Sure.
I didn't know you could use that to benefit. I mean, what does he think he is, a politician?
I don't know. Yeah.
What does he think? He's Nancy Pelosi?
From Minnesota? Whatever.
Oh, man.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. So now he's got charged. I got to take a picture of something real quick. I'm being locked out of one of the TV channel. I simulcast on 4 different platforms.
Right.
And one of them is Q, CUE. Q is a television station.
Yeah.
And it's come up before where it tells me it doesn't communicate with me. So I'm sending it real quick to my friend Jason.
Yeah.
He's the one that owns the station and all. Well, not own it. He rented a spot on a channel on the station. And he was wondering why, and he can fix it. I don't know what's going on with it.
Yeah. Do you get many viewers on that?
I don't have any idea because I don't get any of the matrix on that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd heard of that, but I Yeah, obviously I
Say,
don't
it's
use that or
Jonathan.
follow it. I use the more conventional media sources.
Well, yeah, it's and this is a cable television thing where you get Netflix and all kinds of stuff,
Right.
and apparently good pricing and
Mhm.
and really decent stuff. But I don't know a lot about it yet. I've got to learn more.
Yeah.
All right, sent. Got it. Made sure that he's at least informed I'm having trouble. Uh, this guy's been on active duty since 2008. He's been a master sergeant since 2023, stationed in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and all that stuff. And when he withdrew his proceeds and bets by January 3rd, on January 3rd, right after the incident,
Mhm.
and then he started to try to conceal his identity. He asked Polymarket to delete his account,
Okay.
which I think when this thing goes to court, it's going to hurt him because he realized I'm doing something that's unethical, wrong, or illegal. It ends up being illegal.
Yeah.
The Mr. Trump was asked about it. Donald Trump, the president. He's asked about the concerns. Is not happy with any of that stuff. The whole world, unfortunately, has become somewhat of a casino. And if you look at what's going on over the world, Europe and every place, they're doing these betting things.
Mhm.
I was never much in favor of it. I like it conceptually, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, you got that same issue with the NBA where players or whatever are participating in betting on games, and I mean that was a big scandal here not too long ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think the president likened it to Pete Rose, if you remember Pete Rose,
Sure.
and he never got into the Hall of Fame while he was alive. Has he since? I don't know. But
There's been there's been a big push to try to get him in.
I know. I think he should be.
Times. Yeah.
He should be in. You can put a note on there that he was he betting on his own team, and he was betting on his own team. But it doesn't matter. You're betting.
Yeah. I don't. I'm trying to remember if Pete Rose bet on other teams, but there was something special about the way he never bet on his own team to lose or something.
No,
like
he didn't
that.
bet him on to lose. He bet him
Yeah.
on to win.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter, because then he knows he's got his lineup right. He's got his best people.
Yeah.
All that
Yeah,
stuff.
he does have some information. So
Sure.
I get that. That should not happen.
I think his problem with Major League Baseball, and I'm just guessing, is he was so adamantly arrogant about it. He never apologized. He blamed Major League Baseball, but he used to bet from the dugout. He'd get on the phone in the dugout.
Oh, I didn't know it was from the dugout. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's just wrong. Shane Copeland, he's the CEO of the Polymarket, says, I think that people going to have an edge to the market that people going and having an edge to the market is a good thing. Obviously, you need to curate them, and you need to really clear and surgeon on when the online draw on ethics, and we spend a lot of time on that. Of course, they're against the whole inside information.
Yeah. And I did find out Pete Rose has still not.
Yeah. Okay.
And he was betting on the Reds while he was a manager. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah, from the dugout.
Yeah. It's okay when you're sitting there say, yeah, we're going to win. We're going to kick your butt. But when you throw money on it, then that's a different thing.
Yeah. Throwing the money on it is the big deal.
But sometimes, have inside information that injuries on the other team that aren't publicized. And so, yeah, I get that.
This guy's the first U.S. That's arrested. But there's been 2 Israeli soldiers that were charged in connection in the past with use of classified information to place bets on a prediction. Place bets. Look, you think because Nancy Pelosi does it, you can get away with it. It's not true. You can't. You can't get away with it. And I know there's been talk about getting to where the House and the Senate can't use insider information.
Yeah, they've been trying to do that for a while.
But for some reason, nobody wants to vote on it.
Well,
they're the legislative body.
Yeah. Well, because it would restrict their financial their
Yeah, it would.
abilities to do financial deals. But you know, when you do have inside information, that's illegal.
Yes, and in the
It's
real world,
right. And you know, and I think, you know, if anybody actually really sat down and went through Pelosi's trades, I'm sure there's something in there, but it's just that would just start a nasty fight
apparently her numbers are better than anybody that.
by thousands of
Yeah,
times.
by tons. You know, she's just very lucky. She's better than all the analysts and everything.
Mhm.
But of course, she could direct which legislation gets voted on and which businesses, you know,
or just know when something's coming up. You know, when something gets submitted, they're working on something, and she can buy and sell, or her husband can buy and sell.
but they don't talk about it. And she said that. And we never talk.
Yeah.
Right. I don't completely buy it.
Yeah.
But if I had Nancy Pelosi as a wife, I wouldn't talk. But I mean, that's beside the point.
Yeah. Or you could like support the Leering Center and, get money out of that.
Speaking of Leering Center, you see Tim Walz is really out there. He's on all the talk shows. He's going overseas to trash the president. You think he's running for president, you know, for the Democrat side?
I don't know what he's doing. I mean, his numbers have got to be in the toilet.
Well, I would think so. I think every time he opens his mouth, he hurts himself.
Yes.
I don't see it as a positive.
Yeah. Mr. Jazz Hands. Well, I know the people, the voters in Minnesota are really ticked off at all.
Yeah, well, you got connections to Minnesota, you know.
But, you know, he wasn't doing his job as governor before, and now he's just traveling. He's not doing it now. So,
no, he was on Jimmy Kimmel the other day.
I saw that. I didn't really watch it. But,
of course, both of them bashed the administration for picking on him, you know. And he asked him some softball question about, you know, the fraud about, you know, you're doing things right. Oh yeah, we've been working on it and stuff, you know. Oh, good for you. So, you know, it's no hardline questions or anything, because he's a comedy show.
Yeah,
it's not very funny, but
no, I don't know if he's a comedy show. I think that ship has sailed.
Well, I think it was a comedy. It was like gut filled.
The only comedy part about him is him. I mean,
I liked him better on the Man Show.
Yeah, I never watched that.
I saw it.
Watched the Man Show.
Oh, it was rude and terrible. Women in bikinis jumping on trampolines was a big thing.
That's right. That's right. I remember that.
He was in blackface a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they were always drinking beer on set and everything. It was just a rude, like the worst side of men.
Yeah. It's funny then he does that, is on that show, and then he goes on to take over.
And political correctness.
Yeah.
He's the most virtuous guy you're going to meet.
Yeah. Well, all these, I think all the talk shows and a lot of the comedy shows are kind of in the toilet, except for probably Gutfeld.
Gutfeld's number one on everything. It makes it easy for him.
Yeah.
These guys have made it very easy for him.
They're so bad.
They're so bad.
He just has to be halfway good, but he is pretty good.
He is smart guy, hilarious. Yeah, actually.
Some of his insights, even though he's a comedian, some of his insights are really, really good if you listen to him.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what makes it enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, since you're a military guy, and I got a military question, see if you can get it. You know, there's 3 carrier groups right now that are in the area.
Right.
I think the latest one, the Bush is still
Bush.
It's in the area. It's not quite to its anchor point. Where I guess they don't anchor. They keep moving. They don't want to be stable, but
it's in the Indian Ocean.
Right. How many eggs a day do you think that carrier group goes through?
The whole carrier group, or just carrier?
The carrier group, it says.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Probably, I would guess somewhere around 15,000.
Gosh, you're really in the ballpark. It's 12,000 eggs. I don't know how you would know that.
Well,
this is like so.
Yeah,
wow, good for you.
There's 8,000 to 10,000 on the carrier, I think, and those big new carriers. I think there's around 8,000. He's 5.
Yeah, so they're going through 12,000 eggs a day. Of course, the group that includes more than one.
Yeah, because there's destroyers and cruisers and submarines in a carrier group.
Everybody eats eggs, I think.
Well, for breakfast, Yeah.
12,000 eggs.
Oh yeah, and when people eat eggs for breakfast, they usually don't just eat one. It's like
And,
Lay's potato chips.
oh, you have that too. the, the the logistics of keeping these things filled has got to be mind-boggling. I mean, they
Yeah.
do it. That's what they do.
Right.
But they have to have supply ships running constantly, don't they?
Yeah, and they do port calls. Like I was on the Tarawa for several months, which is an LHA, which is like a small carrier.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the Tripoli is this there, but
Like it's 400 or 500 feet long instead of
yeah,
1,000.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's like a World War II carrier, about that size.
Mhm.
But yeah, and they do LREPs where you logistics replenishment. I think LREPs, I think that's right. And where they actually at sea, they cable stuff across and slide supplies across. They bring them in on helicopters, slung below the helicopters.
I've seen pictures of that.
Go back and forth. Yeah, I actually watched. Besides the movies, I actually watched when they moved a person from one ship to another in a basket, and he slides across there. And yeah, where they're both going. It's an interesting deal. And refueling, of course, if you don't have a nuclear powered, they have to push refueling.
You need a gas truck.
Yeah, a big hose that they shoot
come
they
right out to
have the little gun that shoots the line across, and they pull the line and tie
But
it
they're
off
not
and all that
considered
stuff.
part of the carrier group, but they're going
No.
to be constantly in and out.
Right. And then, of course, you do port calls and
Right.
and you,
That's the big stuff. That's forklifts.
Yep. And
A
then
little easier.
you have to form the big lines to pass the stuff down into the stores.
Yeah, because they're
Yeah.
narrow hallways, most of it.
Yes. Yeah, and you do like the old you have people facing each other across, so you pass them down, you go down the stairs and stuff, and it works pretty good. There's manpower, still got a good place.
Well, I said that the Ford put in a lot more elevators for such things.
Okay.
Well, at least for
Yeah.
for munitions too,
Well,
because
it's because they're so big.
yeah,
Yeah, they get the munitions and the food in the stores where they need to go.
yeah. But just supplying these things has got to
Yeah.
be a big deal. Keeping that going.
Yeah.
But 12,000 eggs a day, just so you know, I found that interesting this morning.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you even came close. I wouldn't have even come close.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
wouldn't have
chickens.
known
Well, I
where to
just
go.
did the calculations because there's like, carrier, couple of destroyers, submarine.
How long did you
whatever.
actually have to be on a carrier when you were deployed?
Want to say it was like the deployment was like about 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah, normally it's 6 or so.
Yeah.
But you stop at ports and things like that. But on mine, we stopped in Somalia.
Oh, really?
What a guard in Kenya.
Went over saw the pirates.
Yeah, Kenya and Somalia. Yeah, we did an amphibious landing in Somalia, and I've told you about this before. There's like absolutely nothing there.
you didn't put it on your list to travel.
No, Barbara, Somalia is where we did our landing. But yeah,
but the quarters are tight.
they are.
But you accommodate. I mean, you don't get
adjust.
claustrophobic and start screaming.
No, but it is. It's I kind of equate it to it's not a cruise ship by any means, but when you can go up above deck,
Uh-huh.
and granted I was an officer, so I got a little bit more access to different things, so I could walk up on the outside on the deck.
It's dangerous up there. If somebody walking around, you don't.
Yeah, but
fine.
there's also different levels in let's say the conning tower or whatever they call it, and going up there is actually pretty good because that doesn't interfere with flight ops or anything. You watch planes, then we had Harriers and helicopters and stuff, watching them taking off and loading up with bombs and all.
Be a good way to pass the time.
Yeah, it is.
Because when you're off duty, you're still on the boat.
That's right. Yeah, you're never off duty.
You're not going anywhere.
And you can get ice cream whenever you want.
Wow.
Soft serve ice cream. So there,
everybody gets heavy.
They didn't have mint chocolate chip all the time, but they had soft serve, and I think I took like you had an option of how much pay you could take, and everything's provided. So I think I took like $50 a payday. So I got $100 a month, and I couldn't spend
Still
it.
have it.
Yeah, I couldn't spend it. I came back with about 90,
So you didn't join the boys on doing the gambling or anything?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
I've heard that goes on,
Yeah.
to pass the time and
Yeah.
losing money on the ship.
Yeah,
Like,
I
how do you
did.
lose money when there's
I think the one thing I did is I went ashore and at Lebanon or some other area, and I was like one of the few that went in there, and we had been at sea for a long time, and then the replenishment, they didn't bring in Skoal and Copenhagen and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've ever seen somebody that goes through withdrawals of
tobacco.
tobacco. Yeah, their eyes get all like sunk in and dark, and so they didn't have any in the ship's store. So when I went in, I bought a couple, even though I didn't dip or anything. I bought a couple of big rolls of the Skoal and Copenhagen,
just
and
in
stuff like
case
that.
somebody was going through withdrawals and stuff.
Well, they were.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were like. So then when I got back on ship, I mean, they're offering me all kinds of money. They wanted to buy the whole roll, and I was like, nope. And I think I had them pay what it cost me, and I would only give them I think one or two, because they wanted all of it, and it's like, no, I'm not doing.
I want to be king of Skoal for a week.
I could have made a bunch of money on that, but no, I just everybody's going through the withdrawals because it's kind of scary when you see some of your friends have those big dark circles and their eyes are sunk in and stuff like that. So
I'm sure it affects them too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a good habit.
No, it's not. Nope.
I would recommend staying away from that stuff.
But everything else is provided for you. If you go down and get a soda or milk or ice cream anytime you want,
open all the time.
Yeah.
So
usually that
do the toilets work?
Yes, all the toilets.
Because you've heard like the Ford, they just keep clogging them. Somehow, when they engineered that brand new one, the biggest and best carrier in the world, they can't get the toilets to work.
They can't get the vacuums right. Yeah.
And apparently every time they clog, it costs them big money to get it unclogged. I don't know what they're doing or how they're doing it, but
you have to go in, probably open up the pipes
and
get it. But now the biggest thing is your showers. If you've heard the term Navy showers.
Yeah, you just run through it real quick, right?
Well, you go in, you turn it on, get wet, turn it off, you soap up, lather up, and all that kind of stuff, and then you turn it on and rinse off. And because
water's scarce. I mean,
the older ships, especially the newer ships, I think the reverse osmosis work much better than the older ones. But and they would suspend showers sometimes if they had problems with the reverse osmosis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good.
No.
Suspending showers. I mean, it's close quarters as it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Not good. But did you enjoy it overall? Was it something you liked doing it?
It was an experience. Got to see a lot of places. Like told you Kenya and Somalia and Lebanon and a number of those places. Yeah, you get to stop in.
Which you wouldn't have wanted to join the Navy.
No, I don't think so. I think I made the right choice with the Marine Corps.
Stay in the Marine Corps.
Get the best.
You can hitch a ride
worlds.
Occasionally.
Yeah, we got our Uber to get us there and back.
Is that the way you look at it?
Yes.
Let's see, the new Supreme Leader, Khamenei, he's responding, which is really interesting. He's in a coma, but responding to Trump's tweets. I mean, we know who's running the country now.
Yeah, the IRGC.
Right. And apparently that leader in there has nothing to gain by ending the war.
Yeah, except maybe stay alive.
That's the reason he can't stay alive if he ends, because the citizens would kill him.
Yeah.
His own,
right.
The other radicals. I mean, he's not in a good situation.
Right. I think, if the U.S. could find their money and freeze their money, I think that would put a little bit of
that's what the blockade's supposedly doing. But I guess this game of chicken. He thinks he can get the United States to blink first.
Well, I'm talking about the individual funds for the generals. The generals in the IRGC, if they can find their bank accounts, I'm sure they have an inkling.
I would be surprised if they still have access to it. but
Yeah,
maybe.
it's hard to say.
I don't know.
It's
The inflation over there is crazy. Their money's
Okay.
becoming worthless.
yeah,
It's hard on the citizens right now. I mean, it's not good. They're not getting ships of eggs in. The carrier group's getting eggs. I don't think they're getting eggs over there. And I don't think. I mean, they import a lot of stuff. They don't have a lot of farmland,
right.
so it's going to be serious. But he's answering Trump's. When Trump put out on Truth Social, Iran, Iran. I got to get that right. My fact checker. I guess it grates on his nerves.
But we'd call it Iran.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
we can't do that. It's Iran. He said Iran is having a hard time figuring out who their leader is. They just don't know. The infighting is between the hardliners who have been losing badly on the battlefield and the moderates who are not very moderate at all, but gaining respect. And it's crazy. Well, he had to answer that. So he said, with practical gratitude for this blessing, cohesion has become even greater and more steel-like, and the enemy will become more wretched and dismissed. The enemy's media operations, by targeting the minds and psyches of the people, intend to undermine national unity and security. May our negligence not allow this sinister intent to come to fruition.
Yeah. Well, that's all they got. They are trying to use the media, the U.S. media, and try to mislead the voters to get Trump to stop because they know they can't beat him on the battlefield.
No,
Yeah.
I think they seriously would like to have the United States get boots on the ground. I think they're more prepared to frustrate them there.
Yeah.
To hide
I
in
think so.
tunnels
Yep.
and do all
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
trying to go through the streets anywhere
Mm-hmm.
is going to be very dangerous.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of Marines lose their lives in that, going head to house, door to door,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah. Urban combat is the toughest combat.
I think they would enjoy that because they know that we can't. Our voters won't allow it. Our country won't allow it. We'll get in and say no. Let's leave them a bunch of helicopters and go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like the Biden approach to war.
It's crazy.
Biden and Obama give him a bunch of money and leave him.
So Biden gave him a bunch of money too for trading out prisoners.
Yeah,
which he said we didn't do. It was just coincidence, that the money got there at the same time.
Yeah,
and of course they stated we're not releasing him until we get the money.
Mm-hmm.
Biden said no, that's not what we did.
Well, who knows? Maybe he didn't really comprehend it.
I don't think he knows what's going on. Joe Rogan does though.
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan, I like him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he speaks his mind. I think he says what he thinks is true.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot. Even if I disagree with him on a few little things or whatever, you can't fault his logic and you can't fault where he stands on
he's
things.
kind of got an independent thinking mind.
He does. He does, and that's why he's popular.
Yeah. Well, on the latest thing with the Ibogaine, I don't know if you have that in there to talk about.
No, what's that?
So, I think I got the pronunciation right. Ibogaine. It's a hallucinogen that that has actually saved a lot of people that have traumatic brain injury or
PTSD,
that kind of stuff. And they give it to you instead of like these daily treatments and all this other kind of, people treat with alcohol and all kinds of stuff. Instead of doing that, you go through this treatment and sometimes it's just one time and it's some sort of hallucinogen and it takes your brain, and I'm explaining it in my terms, not medical terms.
Right.
It reroutes, allows your brain to reboot, reset, reroute pathways and stuff like that. And so if you go through it like once, you can be cured. And there was actually people there. Joe Rogan was the one that brought it to Trump, and Trump had not heard about it, but then he had a couple of the Navy notable Navy SEALs behind him, and he signed an executive order to allow.
Rogan was there too
Yes, he
the
was.
White House.
Yep, and yeah, just to allow the to push the experimental treatment, because there's so many artificial blocks to stop, the research on these things.
But the pharmaceuticals hate that.
Yeah.
When you take something that's a known commodity that you can't patent and make money on, and it's working, and all the stuff that you spend billions on doesn't work, it still makes them mad. They just I don't think they care about the patient as much as the bottom line.
Right. And, and they have a little bit of point, they put a bunch of money into research and that kind of stuff, and they want to be able to recoup their money. But, this most favored nation, which, we used to use in the city in procurement, you get the best prices that anybody gets anywhere. And for a long time, as I think a lot of people saw this, the U.S. is footing like 75% of the bill, and the other countries are, paying peanuts for the medications. We're paying, 5-10 times what they're paying.
And Trump's apparently working on that. I don't know what the progress is.
He's made significant progress, and I think the word's out amongst the pharmaceutical companies now that you're not going to take us to the cleaners. We're going to pay the same as everybody else.
That's what you get when you put a president in that's not beholden to anybody. He financed himself. He doesn't take the money from these special interest groups that are going to control him and direct him in which way to go.
Yeah. And as the pharmaceutical companies put a lot of money into lobbying.
They're the biggest.
Stuff,
They're the biggest.
But that's what most favored nation is that everybody pays the same price. You can't overcharge, countries like the United States and people. You can't overcharge people. It's like, and there's hundreds of examples of what's going on, of what we're paying here. And then you can go over to England and you get it for a tenth of the price.
Oh, Trump's been talking about it a lot, particularly the Ozempic, the fat shot, he calls it. He says, my friend takes the fat shot.
It hasn't done him any good, but
exactly.
But he's got to pay $1,200 for it here, and he pays $125 over in England or something like that. Yeah,
calls him up. So what's up, Prez?
Yeah. But anyway, so and that's what I think. Rogan has tended to be a Democrat, I think, in the past, but
he was a Democrat. In fact, he states it.
Yeah,
because of the left is looking for a Joe Rogan. He says, "Why are they looking? They had me."
Yeah,
and they threw him away.
Yeah, it's because they got so radical.
They are radical.
Nobody could follow the things that they're doing.
I brought Joe Rogan up because it was noted that Rogan helped Trump a lot in the election just by having him on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think he did an honest interview. He asked him hard questions. He did all that stuff. But just having him on is what incensed the left. Like, you shouldn't give him exposure at all. Yeah. And when he said, come on, you can come on, he went to Joe Rogan, stayed there for hours, canceled other things to do it. Kamala Harris wouldn't do it unless you signed a lot of conditions and you came to Texas and all that.
Yeah.
And
I think Trump started going on those at the advice of his son.
Right.
His son was like, oh, you got to go on this show. Yeah, it's hugely popular. He goes, and Trump was like, what's his name?
Yeah. And so Trump listens.
Yeah.
Obviously.
He does listen.
Well, apparently they've become closer, but then there was I read a lot that there was a falling out of Rogan and Trump, that they weren't, that Rogan was mad at him and all that stuff. And then he shows up in the White House with this drug thing.
Yeah.
Patting him on the back and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and even J.D. Vance, first came out, he didn't like Trump.
Oh, he didn't like it all.
Trump can get past those things,
Oh, gosh, yes. In fact, Rogan didn't like Trump at all. That's why he never interviewed him in the first term.
Right.
Never did. He says he just didn't want to. Maybe I'll like him, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I think, we talked about Gutfeld too. And I think at the beginning, Gutfeld didn't like Trump either. But then it was like.
Trump brought that up before.
Yeah. But it's like, well, wait a minute. This guy's doing what he said he's going to do. He's actually doing something and doing what he said he'd do. And that's very different for a politician. And I think that's what turned Gutfeld.
It does make him
a lot
weird.
of other people. Yeah. Makes it weird for a politician.
But well, Rogan recently, he was while he was on his show, somebody was asking him, was it going to be okay, meaning the Iranian thing? And he says, no one blinking knows. I mean, what's going on with Iran's the ceasefire? Supposedly they extended it, but then they're shooting at ships. Well, now some people will look at that and say, he's trashing Trump. I look at that as just being honest.
Mhm.
I think Trump would agree with that comment.
I think so.
That's why Trump
Yeah.
has to sit up and watch it constantly because to figure out where it's going.
We have never had a president who's so open and so transparent and tells you what he's thinking, and every
Yeah.
once in a while, one of those S bombs or F bombs slips out. And people go crazy.
I know, like how
why
dare he?
why the left is purposely saying, F bombs they're kind of out of step of where it's at. And it's like, well, where did that come from?
They did that as a for some kind of coordinated effort to get
Yeah.
attention. That was before Trump's, and they were. I mean, they seemed to like send a memo to everybody. Let's try swearing.
Yeah, and it's
so
so
weird.
awkward.
It is.
They put those videos out, and
that was
they're
real
just,
awkward.
Yeah, they're just bad. I
Yeah,
mean, they're awkward and bad, and it's like, man, I'm not going voting for those.
Their
idiots.
base doesn't abandon them for it, though.
Right?
They don't care, I guess, unless Trump does it.
Well,
Then they're all
some
over it.
people do. I mean, you talk Rogan and Musk, and there's a lot of people. Fetterman is probably one of the few that doesn't go along with that.
No, he doesn't.
He's
He
refreshing.
seems to speak his mind
Yeah.
and whatever he thinks is right and wrong, and not asking Nancy Pelosi which way do I think on this.
Yeah, Fetterman, Harold Ford Jr. I mean,
I like
there's several that are,
sensible. I mean, at least logical.
right.
You may not agree with everything, but you don't start looking at them like they're just a pawn. They got their own
at
mind.
the federal level, though, the Democrats have gone so far left that they
Right.
can't embrace a lot of those voices. Sometimes that happens on the Republican side too,
It
but it seems that we have at least a good chunk of the party is still kind of moderate right instead of extreme. We have that small numbers of extremes.
Joe Rogan's guest asked whether the war was an attempt to force regime change, and he responded he was unsure why the administration elected to launch the initial strikes when it did. People have wanted to get people out of Iran. The people that are running Iran for 47 years, but no one actually has gone and done it the way this administration did. And it doesn't make sense. They choose to do it when they did. That's Rogan saying that. He says, I think the idea that they're trying to negotiate about something, and I don't know this is ever going to work out. I really don't know. And he suggested on that Benjamin Netanyahu is influencing Trump's decision to become involved. Says, why did we do it? I don't know. I think it's because of Israel, if I had to guess. And that's been accused a lot, that Israel was calling the shots and that Trump is a puppet to Israel.
Yeah.
I think there's some coordination, obviously, and there's some contact.
And I don't think Trump is not a puppet to anybody.
No.
He's, I mean, if you have to take a picture of an independent thinker, I think that would be Trump, because Trump was a Democrat before too.
Oh, yeah.
And they loved him until he decided to run for president. And then it was like,
we came down the golden
Antichrist.
stairs, man. It has nothing but attack dog since. It probably surprised him because he kind of got along with everybody.
Yep.
Even his ex-wives.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
All of a sudden, he had the whole team after him and making up stuff. I mean, it's been unprecedented, the witch hunt that's gone after Trump.
Yeah. And everybody's got to see it. It's crazy, and not only Trump, but anybody that supports Trump, just the crazy things around.
I'm wearing a Trump hat today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fearless.
There you go. That's why the doors are locked, right?
Lock the doors and get rid of it. But I think the relationship with Joe Rogan and Trump is just honest. I don't think it's
I think so.
negative. I don't think Trump would read any of his comments and think he's out of line.
I don't think so. I
don't think it's a problem. And for him to say, I don't know what's going on, I just think that's honesty, because who does?
Yeah. Well, you don't know it's going to work out, but you don't know how it's going to work out.
I think you're right. I mean, I have great confidence that Trump's going to figure this out.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean he's going to avoid catastrophe.
Right.
Catastrophe could have happened in Venezuela. Catastrophe could have happened rescuing that Wizzo.
Right.
You had hundreds of assets over there trying to rescue one man.
Yeah.
I mean, it is such a gutsy move on everybody involved. Those special forces guys and those guys that do that for a living.
Mhm.
I mean, how much guts do those guys have? But I mean, apparently, though, when the time comes to do it, they're ready to go out the gate. I mean, let me go.
Right.
Let me go in.
And he lets them, and that's a big difference from a lot of other presidents. It's like,
Yeah, they're not
you
going to
know,
risk it politically.
right. But Trump is like, when it's time to go, I turn it over to people that know what they're doing, and that hasn't happened a lot in the past. I mean, you look at Vietnam, you look at I think probably even Korea, but Vietnam for sure. What happened in
I had too many friends over there
Beirut,
that just talked about just the ridiculousness
right.
that went on because it was run politically and not
Yeah.
like a war.
Right.
And I'm glad Trump doesn't let that happen. I don't think it's appreciated on the left.
No, it's they just hate Trump. That's all it is.
They're blinded.
Yeah, and I don't think at the federal level, I don't really think, most politicians, when you elect them, they think about what's best for the country.
Right.
And of course, they have different opinions about that. But I'm not sure at the federal level, I'm going to classify it at the federal level, I'm not sure that the Democrats really are supportive of our country and the freedoms and everything.
They're supportive of free election, of being reelected.
Yeah.
They want to be reelected.
Right.
And that's why I have so much respect for Trump. I mean, what he's doing in Iran is not going to help him at the polls. Probably it's not going to help him.
It's going to hurt him.
Yeah, he knows it.
Yeah.
And he's on the belief that he can wrap it up in time.
Yeah.
To salvage it.
Well, I think now what I really think is that the intel that he got was that Iran is going to do the final step to enrich. They got, obviously, we don't know exactly what he knew from the intel. But obviously they had a missile that would go, what was 2,500 miles or
over 3,000.
Yeah.
I thought, not to the United States.
Yeah, but Diego Garcia. So they had the delivery means.
Yeah.
And that, and right after we attacked, of course, when we got into negotiations, they said, yeah, we have enough to make 11 or 10 nuclear bombs, 11 nuclear bombs. And my guess is that Trump had the intel that they were in the process or getting ready to go to the final step do that, which is only from the 60%. It's only a couple of weeks to get it to the nuclear.
Well, there's been a lot of legislatures say that was it. Now it was probably Israel that had had that intelligence.
Probably.
And that's where they say, well, you're just doing what Netanyahu wants or something, probably. But that is the most likely.
Yeah.
But that's been talked a lot about in certain circles, that they were just moments away, weeks away from the nuclear bomb. And it took cuts. There's many presidents that would have just said, nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Like Europe right now, they know it. And they said, well, we were in negotiations with them. Really? I mean, 47 years of them lying in negotiations, and you haven't figured that out.
Yeah. And that's how they're getting things done.
Right.
They're slowly infiltrating and taking over countries. And
I think Obama made deals with him so he'd get reelected and all that. Just get him out of it.
I believe so.
Get him out of the.
I believe so.
Make him a non-factor in the election, and just placate him, give him some money, and knowing that they're going to build weapons.
Well, it was you can't have a nuclear weapon for 10 years. We'll give you whatever it is, 17 billion.
And I'll be out of office by then. I'll be working in my ugly library, and I'll be.
That is an ugly library, isn't it?
Yeah, it's terrible.
I've heard there's protests going on right now in Chicago against
beautification tour protests.
What? No, well, no, that they're protesting Obama and what's the governor? Not Shapiro,
Pritzker.
Yeah, they're protesting Obama and Pritzker, and I'm guessing it's because his library is so freaking ugly. I guess that's what was the final key. It's like, yeah, we don't like these guys, but we're not going to go out protest. And then they built the library. It's like, oh, that thing's ugly. We got to get rid of that thing.
But Trump has put out a graphic of what they want to do.
Right.
Or at least his son did or whatever. It's 47 stories, which is funny.
Yeah.
And all that. And it's gold, of course. And it got some gold stuff on it and all that. And it's actually gorgeous skyrise.
It is.
It's a gorgeous skyrise.
Building overlooking.
And the left is going crazy on how stupid it is. I mean, stupid in what respect?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, how can you poke? It's not reality to poke fun at it. It's amazing. It's going to have a Air Force One on the ground floor and stuff, and the
Right.
golden escalator,
Mm-hmm.
and a mock-up of the ballroom.
Yeah.
It's going to be immense.
Yeah.
And speculation, it's going to have hotel suites in there. You can go spend the night, go to the library, spend the night.
Well, but that would be a great way to, because all these libraries, like the Reagan Library, I really like that
Yeah,
one. And,
it's
and
nice.
some of the other ones, but
You're not going to spend the night there.
Nixon's and stuff. Yeah, but you can't spend the night. But what a way to take in the revenue to keep the thing self-supporting.
Well, that's what I thought when I looked at it. I said, "What? That son of a gun's going to make it pay for itself."
Yeah, he is, and maybe turn a profit.
Maybe turn a profit on my library,
so they can do the upkeep and
that's just amazing.
Yeah, they can redo the gold leaf and all that stuff.
Well, they'll probably get the gold leaf out of the White House when they throw it out. Whoever goes in there afterwards will probably take it all off the walls.
Probably. It's like, Oval Office looks
anything
looks
that says
too
Trump
nice.
on it, get rid of it. They may pull the wires back out. He had the wires redone. We hate him so much. Yeah. He was asked the other day about nuclear weapons on Thursday. Actually, he was asked about nuclear weapons, on would he use them or whatever. And Trump says, "No, I wouldn't. We don't need to. Why do I need it? Why would a stupid question like that be asked? Why would I use a nuclear weapon when we've totally, in a very conventional way, disseminated them without it? No, I wouldn't use it. A nuclear weapon should never be allowed to be used by anybody."
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yep.
Who would ask that question?
So, the press trying to get him to say something stupid, that they can take.
No
take
wonder
out
he's
of
totally
context or
frustrated
whatever.
with them all the time. Yeah,
Well,
like you've wiped out their aircraft, you've wiped out their navy mostly, except the little boats, and you own total superiority now in the airspace and all that.
Right.
Do you think you're going to need to use nuclear weapons? Why would you ask that question?
His comment is like, "That's such a stupid question. I'm not even going to answer it." And then
Should've.
the headlines would be, "Trump refuses to."
Yeah, he won't. Yeah, I like that. That's right. It probably would.
Trump refuses to answer that.
But
Use of nuclear weapons.
I think they ask him that stuff knowing it's a stupid question. They know it. They just want to ask him something to cause a headline, like you say.
Yeah, well, a lot of their questions are smart questions, but they haven't been answered before. But every once in a while, you get a stupid one, and I think it's just because they're sitting back there and it's like, "Oh, I got to ask a question.
Maybe
What could I ask?" And they come up with one.
Well, no, probably the guy next to him says, "Ask him about nuclear," so you can get called stupid.
Yeah, and after they ask the question and look at him, they're kind of thinking in their minds, "Oh, that was a dumb question.
Maybe.
Why did I do that?"
Huckabee, he's the ambassador to Israel. He called Hezbollah a kid throwing rocks at the window. He said the people of Lebanon, the people of Israel, neighbors, they want to get along.
Yeah.
Which, I hope that's true. Maybe, and he says they can get along.
Yeah.
He says, but it's like neighbors who have a rough little kid living in the neighborhood that keeps throwing rocks at everybody's windows, and the kid will quit throwing rocks, and the neighbors get along and start actually working together.
Yeah. Well, people don't know, or maybe don't understand, but there are a lot of Arabs that live in Israel, and
It's
they
like
get
20%
along
or
fine.
something,
Yeah,
20,
and there are Arabs that are in the
and they're
Israel army.
citizens that vote and
Exactly.
everything else.
And so they can get along. And the problem is, 100%, it's Iran. Did I say that right? Hezbollah and Hamas. And
you're just trying to show me up.
That's right. No, I'm trying to stay in good graces. But anyway, so that's really the problem, Yemen and stuff. But and they're all funded out of the same Iranian pot. So if you can cut that funding stream off, it's gonna, and supplying them the weapons and all of that, you can make some pretty good strides. And then they just intercepted the supply ship that had the rocket fuel from China.
They did.
And so China's behind it too, which doesn't surprise anybody.
Well, our relationship with China has always been like that, though. I mean, even Korea, they supplied aircraft to North Koreans and all that stuff.
Yep.
It's a weird situation.
Yeah,
that we have a trade situation where they send us trinkets and toys at good prices,
Yeah.
and then they
Send us
support,
junk. Yeah.
then they just support our enemies
Yeah.
and all
I
that
know.
stuff. It's just the dynamic we have.
Yeah.
I like Trump's idea of like start severing ties,
Mhm.
don't depend on them for stuff.
Well, and he
Don't,
has started that, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
he has, and it needs to continue. Like our lithium and stuff, which we can't operate without it. We can't operate without chips. We can't operate without, an F-35 is filled with lithium
Yeah.
and chips. And if we're not getting it from China, well,
Yeah.
or Taiwan even, and there's
Yeah.
that threat that they're going to wipe Taiwan
And
out.
we have all those sources all over the United States. It's just, EPA has limited the ability
Yes.
to harvest those. In China, they just don't care
Yeah.
about their people, and so they'll just take it however they do. And if it kills somebody, and in a few years, they just don't care about it.
But we're pulling lithium now out of the United States.
Yeah.
Not in big numbers, but we have big numbers available that they're now going after.
Yeah.
And and I have some friends that have been talking about it and have some interest in some of those mines.
And there are some places where it's almost like sitting right on the surface, ready to be harvested. They just need to get over there to do it.
The one I know about is underground, but they're not strip mining it. They're injection and pumping it out.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't fully understand I need to go visit.
There you go.
I need to go see how the thing works, and all that stuff. But we've got great technology, great ability, but we've tied the hands because of our regulation, all that. But we should be able to look at Europe and see where they've screwed this up on so much by shutting down their nuclear, shutting down, all their, carbon-based fuels, and then begging Russia for it and being beholden to everybody for it, and have no control over their futures, no control over their national security.
Right. Yeah.
And say, well, we're just going to negotiate. It's amazing how the Europeans right now are all getting together to discuss how we're going to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Well, you got the wrong guys at the desk. Talk to the United States, but say they won't. They won't help. I think there's a little bit coming in now, but
I think U.S. is participating in those things to try to get them to come around. But obviously, their leaders. Yeah, there's not a lot of really good leaders right now in the EU.
No, and they're all there's not all, but most of them are very beholden to the progressive left.
Yeah,
and they're doing that. There's a guy named Tulsi that does a blog and a podcast on Iran. Now, he's Iranian. He lives in England and he has family there, and they're contacting constantly. He's a brilliant guy. He's a journalist, and he has been for many years.
Yeah,
but he's mentioned that the prime minister of
UK.
The UK is doing all this work on the straits on how to do it, even though he's not helping. And he says the day it opens, he'll put out a tweet or something on how he got it done. He's going to take credit for it, or I'll eat this book.
Well, yeah,
yeah,
and
England,
it's
probably true.
Yeah, I guess England does have some minesweeping capability, and the U.S. has kind of let theirs lag, had gone more towards warships. Of course, the Navy, the number of ships in the Navy have been dramatically cut down. I think like less than 400, or right at 400, and we used to be 600. So the U.S. has kind of slipped up in that area. But England, since I guess every continent's totally surrounded by water, but England's basically an island, and so minesweeping to them is critical.
Apparently, we've got some capability though. There's some underwater stuff we've got, some stuff we got. But you're right, we don't.
Yeah,
I mean, I've heard that we need help.
Yeah, but they had. In fact, they're in the process of retiring all the minesweepers, and that we had the ships, and they're more like boats, not really ships. But yeah,
but my understanding of this Chinese mine now, it sets at the bottom. It doesn't emit any signals. It's not easy to pick up because it blends in with the bottom, and it's got listening devices. And when it hears the right boat, and it can tell from the weight or tell from the hull or whatever.
Yeah,
it's going to blow up underneath it and be devastating, shoot right up under it, and devastate a boat from underneath. And they're contending with that, but there are ways they can find them. I don't know what that is, but they've got some underwater stuff that can find
They
them and
tow
locate them.
sleds and remote vehicles and
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
And they tow some of those sleds with helicopters. Even.
They do.
Yeah, but they said it's going to take 6 months to get through it. And Trump gave an order, triple it. Work faster. I mean, triple your searches, triple your whatever, which would mean more assets.
Right.
And that would probably mean foreign assets and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what our limitations are on that.
Well, they're our partners, overseas from NATO and the U.S. need to stand up somehow. I mean, because as he says over and over and over again, this is like your oil. We don't need the Strait of Hormuz for the oil. We have plenty. Right. So,
well, except it would cause world issues that would affect us.
Right.
It's not. You're right. We don't need more oil. We've got enough.
Yeah.
Although some of it we can't refine. Some of it is a crude that we send overseas and we get their crude in to replace it or whatever. We swap it out, but not really. I mean, we sell it and buy it back.
Right.
But some of it. That's why they're building that new refinery down in Texas.
They're finally building a refinery.
Yeah, for first one in many, many years.
Well, we need the one to go in here so we can stop depending upon California oil. That's where gas is.
That was 20 years ago, and it's just a shame that that couldn't happen and it got held up. The one thing I want to mention, I have you, is some of the changes in warfare. And I watched a documentary yesterday on how the Ukraine is involved in this war heavily with and they're selling equipment to states in this war,
right?
And getting contracts, which is helping Ukraine because they need the money. They need to be able to expand what they're doing, and they're doing it with like Saudi Arabia and Qatar and all these guys, and they've got battle tested, proven devices that are tons cheaper that are going after these drones.
Yeah,
and I didn't realize the technology they're using. They made it themselves, but they had the drones that come in are very hard to detect because they're not the big things that the Patriots are set up for and all that.
Right.
They're very hard to detect, and they have drones that have listening devices, and they started using listening devices off of cell phones to make them. And they can detect the sound of a drone versus the sound of a lawnmower, the sound of something else, whatever. So they can specifically detect. As soon as they detect it, those things take off and go.
Yeah.
And they're like a couple, they're 20 grand or 30 grand to build instead of $1 million a shot.
Right.
And they can go up and take out these shaheeds right away. And so Saudi Arabia and others are just partnering with them and buying them, and which is a good for us,
right?
Because we don't have they're self-reliant right now, being able to have products that they can sell and do stuff like that. So these guys have been brilliant. These Ukrainians.
Well, they had to do something to come up with.
Or they wouldn't have survived.
Right.
Because they weren't getting enough help, especially initially. The West was afraid of them. They said, 3 days, it's over. We'll just see what happens.
Yes. Well, I think that was Biden's approach to Ukraine.
Yeah. And then we'll send you some blankets.
Yeah, exactly.
and it slowly, it spooled up. I mean, little by little, they started doing more and more eventually when they realized, you guys are still in the fight.
Well, Ukraine is still actually doing deep strikes into Russia.
Well, they only started that like a year or two ago. It's a 4-year war, but they didn't have the equipment, and the equipment they did have was ours. And we said, you cannot use it on Russian territory.
Yeah.
Only on your own territory. Now, if you fight a war only on your territory ever, you're not going to get an upper hand, man.
No,
you can't.
And that's they're going after like oil refineries and power plants.
That
kind of stuff.
Which according to the left is internationally a war crime, and you should go to the Hague. And
not.
I know, right?
That's what's
but
so
they
crazy.
say, but the left supports Ukraine doing it. But if Trump does it,
I know,
you're going to jail.
Yeah.
In fact, they're going to already impeach him for saying it.
Well, anything they'll impeach him for if they get the House again, it's just gonna be a continuous.
I wonder
impeachment
how often
process.
can they do that? Can they do that once a month? You think?
I think they can do it probably every day.
Yeah, every day, and no other business until
Yeah, set some
We start the
records.
day with an impeachment, and
Yeah.
then we can do other business.
Yeah. Well, and if our government gets to that point, I know Trump will just, okay, fine. Then I'm going to govern by executive order and just start throwing out the executive orders and let them file all the lawsuits and
Yeah.
try to get it resolved that way.
Well, they'll impeach him for that too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you got one impeachment a day.
Well, I think that I would guess that their program is if we shut it all down because it's all impeachments, they'll eventually just blame Trump and want to get tired of it, and they'll get rid of him just because, and then we can blame it all on him. It was always him that deserved the impeachments,
Right.
and the Republicans will get frustrated because nothing's getting done.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know if they think that far ahead.
Well, I don't know if I'd say it's thinking ahead, but I do think that's their thought process.
Yeah.
That
We'll hang so much on him he can't survive. But
right.
But they've been doing it since he went down the golden elevator.
Well, nobody believes it anymore. It's like the boy cried wolf, after you do it so much that nobody believes it anymore. And that's where I think a good chunk, at least 50% of the country, is with the Democrats. And of course, then the other 50% is that way with the Republicans, that they can't do anything right either. So,
I think most Republicans are open-minded, though.
Most.
If you step out of line as a Republican, you're more apt to get axed right away. You're not going to wait years like with Swalwell and say, okay, I got enough information on to get rid of him. Let's see if he doesn't do what I want.
Yeah.
Use it as a tool.
Well, he was a problem. I think the reason they let him go is because he was a problem in the governor's race in California. And they were worried they were going to lose the governor.
So they knocked him out.
Yeah, they said, we're going to let you be taken out.
And I was just amazed at how fast every Democrat dumped him. Every one of them, including his best friend, Ruben Gallego.
Yeah, well, and Ruben's got some problems, a lot of problems.
That's what I've heard, but I haven't seen the people come forward yet. I mean, if they have, they haven't made it public.
Yeah, that's because the Democrats haven't seen him as a problem to them yet.
Well, I think they saw him early on as somebody they want to put forward. They let him put forward a lot on a lot of messaging and stuff. They thought, he's a good-looking guy, military background.
We can control him.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. But he looked nervous. I don't know. I'm sure you saw that press interview he did outside his office. His arms crossed and stern. He's using his words very carefully.
He's afraid.
Yeah.
You could tell. You can see when somebody like that's afraid. He's afraid because I believe he's just as guilty in all these things as Swalwell is. Maybe a step below him, but it's still way out there.
Maybe he was just holding the camera,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Maybe he was taking the pictures, but I think all those files that the Congress covers up about sexual harassment and these rapes and all that kind of stuff, I think that all has to come out.
Yeah. The public thinks so, but they don't care. They're in control of it, and they're not going to do it. Not easily.
But there's this huge fund that they have. I mean, they're spending taxpayer money on this stuff, and it should be. I think if it goes to the courts, they'll have to release it.
But they're doing it under the guise it's harassment lawsuits that are unfounded or something.
Right. But and I get it that there are some of those.
Some of that exists.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be.
And look,
shouldn't be paying these things off.
As a county supervisor, I got subpoenaed a lot.
City manager,
and it was all
named in lawsuits.
It all was in line with what I was doing as a supervisor. So of course it just went right.
Yep.
And they're treating this the same way, like, well, you being harassed is part of what your job is now. I never had any problems like that, and I'm assuming that would have gone to the same. They would have taken care of it if it was some egregious, stupid thing. I don't know. But if you rob a bank, the state's not going to pay for it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're letting them cross that line or not.
Right. Well,
I mean, actually doing something that they should be held accountable for.
Yeah. And
bailing them out. I don't know.
And off the air, I'll tell you some of the things that I went through where I had to pay a lot of money.
You had to pay yourself.
I did. I eventually got it back.
Okay, good.
But I had to put out a lot of money for the crap that Valenzuela and Katz and those guys had done behind the scenes.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you did get it right. Good.
Yeah, of course. I was right all along.
But you
they
were
were making stuff up.
But you were a target because of your position.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, they wanted their way and
Mm-hmm.
get people out. And it was to try to get a number of people out and make people look bad. And so, yeah, I had to put out a bunch of money.
It's not unusual.
Right.
It's not unusual, particularly in the position you had, because you were, seen as the evil one.
Yeah.
Which, but you lasted 9 years. That average position is like a 3-year turnover.
Yeah, it's normal. I think it's about 4.
It's about 4.
Yeah, city managers turn over, 3 to 4 years. Yeah.
Faster in some cases.
Yeah.
Let's take a phone call. Carl, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Greg and
Hey,
Russ.
Carl.
How we doing today?
Doing well, sir. Good morning.
A couple questions for you, Greg. Did we ever catch the machete lady?
Yes, we did. So,
All right.
yeah, for everybody else, the machete lady was a lady here in town that went after some of our campaign signs, especially Trump signs, with a machete and chopped them up.
Yeah, she didn't like him.
Yeah, and we did. The sheriff's office did a great job and ran her down. We actually had video of her doing this, and had video of her with her truck there, and her truck had a for sale sign with her phone number on it.
Oh, great.
And it was in the video. And so the sheriff's office tracked her down.
And you got to hand to that sheriff's office. They can really do
yes.
That's slick investigation.
Yes. they tracked her down, found her, arrested her. She went to jail, was arraigned. They had the trial, they found her guilty, and we're getting ready to do the sentencing, and she ran. So now she has a bench warrant for her arrest.
Oh, they haven't found her since the bench warrant.
No, she's trying to lay low.
She's avoiding justice.
Yes, she is.
She's an outlaw.
Yes. Well, Carl had the same thing. Was some kids going after a sign in his yard.
And I went down yesterday to the court with the fine young gentleman. He was only 17 years old, and when he went up in front of the judge, the kid pleaded guilty.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah. Well, when they have a picture of you doing it,
yeah,
yeah, and witnesses,
and the young kid, he was down there with his mom, and he did plead guilty. And I tell you what, the judge worked him over good. I mean, he put the fear of God in that kid's eyes for him.
Good. He's not going to do jail time though.
No, the judge gave him 2 years probation.
Wow.
He had to pay all the court costs, and he had to pay me back for messing with my sign. So
good.
So he's going to have to pay, and he's going to have to be on probation for 2 years, and after that, if he stays clean, he can go clean his record. It'll go off, which I am really pleased with that, because the kid stepped up. He knew he was wrong, and he stepped up. So you can't cut his fingers off when they step up and say what they do.
Did you have Judge Coyle or Judge Counts?
Coyle?
Yeah. I figured he'd take that one. Yeah. He usually does a pretty good job with.
No, I was well pleased with the judge on it.
Yeah.
And while we was in there, 2 of them, people, when they have to pay restitution, whatever you do, if you can't pay all the money, you go talk to the judge, and you tell him your story, and you will not go to jail.
Yeah.
There were 2 of them up there. They were supposed to pay restitution. They didn't do it. They never went and talked to the judge or nothing. And while we were sitting in the courtroom, the marshal come by and put handcuffs on them and took them to Happy Land. So
that's how you learn, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so this young kid, he's got 2 years probation. If he's good, he's clean. If the judge tells him to do something and he does it, they get to go to Happy Land with cuffs on.
Yeah.
So,
I think that school should sue the school for letting them out.
Well,
yeah.
Carl got his money, so he'd have a hard time, but
yeah.
Oh, good.
So I got my money.
I'm glad you stuck with it, Carl. Yeah.
Well, I would still like to find out why the kid just said it. He did it because, all them kids around. So he just jumped up there and did it. So,
Yeah.
and I could understand that too.
We've all been kids. We've all been stupid, but
Yeah.
sometimes there's a price to pay.
No, I got quite a few of those signs in my closet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's one of those mob rule. You just get going and you're a stupid kid. And but it was a mistake for the schools should have done something
to discourage it, if nothing else.
To discourage it. And it's like, okay, this is not going to happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's getting published around the schools so they know that don't do stupid things like that.
Yeah.
Right.
The last thing I got to say before I take off is Alex Culligan going to be in town tomorrow. We're going to start out in Weldon at across the street from the Circle K, so you can't miss us on the main drag. And then we're going to be going to Costa Deli about 1 o'clock tomorrow. And then we're going to Eddie's place. So at 5 o'clock down in San Luis.
What time in Welton?
We're going to be out there at 9 o'clock.
9 a.m. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have coffee and donuts. Just stop by and say hi. And I think Melba Alvarez is going to be out there. And I think there might be a couple other candidates. You're
going to be out there with our next governor, right? Andy Biggs?
No, Andy Biggs won't be. That's the second. Andy's coming into town on the 2nd.
Oh, on the 2nd. So tomorrow will be Melba. Yeah. Well, I like her more.
Well, Melba and Alex he's running for the Secretary of State.
Alex, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty high up the chain, isn't it? For the Secretary of State.
Yep,
it is.
So what the candidate corner is doing is getting candidates out. So all you got to do is come and talk to them.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Carl. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Take care, man.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
Greg.
Yes.
You're doing a hell of a good job with Russ there. Russ does a good job, and you do a good job. So
somebody's got to keep me straight, man.
I guess that's a double good job.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too, Carl.
Bye-bye. Now, you got to go?
No.
Okay, good. I don't want you to go. We'll keep you.
Trying to chase me off?
No. Heck no. There are people I have wanted to chase off.
Yeah. I'm sure.
You're not one of them. The United Nations getting involved in this Iran war.
Iran.
Yeah, Iran. It said on Thursday that more than 30 million people will be pushed back into poverty due to the war in Iran amid disruptions in fuel and fertilizer supplies, which fertilizer is a big deal.
Yes,
fertilizer supplies have already cut agricultural productivity. Yeah. I don't doubt that at all. Food insecurity will be at the peak of level in a few months, and there's not much you can do about it.
Yeah.
Even if the war stops tomorrow, those effects, you already have them, and they will be pushing back more than 30 people into poverty. I don't doubt that it's going to be a big hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But what does the United Nations really do? Is this what they're involved in? Is just doing a journalistic job, or do they actually?
I don't know really if the United Nations has done much of anything since Korea. I
mean, they're not involved in any negotiations. They're not involved in helping.
I mean, it's a good thing that they get together with all the nations and talk, because talk tends to hold off wars. But they just have been so useless over the years, and they tend to, put like nations that are the biggest. I don't know, the racist nations or genocidal nations.
They're in charge of humanity.
Yeah, and they put them in charge.
Human rights. We're gonna let.
And it seems that I think there's anti-Semitism inside the UN, and of course there's anti-Semitism throughout the world. And
I read those reports and I'm like, well, that's good, but any journalist should have done that, not the United Nations. Why do we spend so much money on the UN,
right,
to get something that CNN will give us for free?
Yeah, well, and CNN's being sold underneath was that the Paramount deal?
Yeah, isn't that nice?
So that's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think
there's always some memes out on that and stuff, making fun of it. Like they're all of a sudden Paramount's going to be hovering over them and dragging them off and giving them papers just to retract what they're saying and everything.
Well, I hope so. I hope they drag some people off and take them out to the North 40, but
maybe,
Yeah, take them behind the woodshed, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
Not to the train station, but behind the woodshed. And
well, they've already gotten rid of a few. You know,
yeah, they have.
Don Lemon's gone.
Yeah.
Although he's still a journalist, so they say. But
but he's maybe not for much longer after the church deal in Minnesota.
And he's still fighting for that. And so is a lot on the left, the View and all this. It's just outrageous that they're coming after, they're fighting against the First Amendment. It has nothing to do with that.
Yeah. And of course, and it's like, he brought them sandwiches and stuff before their breakfast, whatever they were. So no, he was involved.
He was part of it, and he went in inside the church and helped with the whole deal. But is Trump right on the United Nations? I mean, he has talked very seriously about reassessing where we are with NATO, United Nations, and we should.
Yeah.
You know, these things were formed many years ago. And is the mission still right? Is the mission still there?
Yeah. Well, I think, and unless I'm wrong, we're probably the majority funder for the UN, like we are for everything. And this is probably one of those times where I think we should be like Canada.
Well, Victor Davis Hansen said that the other day.
I know.
He says, don't quit. Just become Canada.
Yeah, just fund it to the whatever, a couple $100 million instead of the billions or whatever.
Yeah,
we do
I think it's great.
Yeah,
I think that'd be the way to go. Is step it back. I agree.
Most favored nation contributions.
Yeah. That's what we should do.
Yes.
Same with NATO, and NATO needs to be realigned, maybe.
Maybe.
And listening to Trump's on that, and thinking about it. That was started to keep Russia at bay,
right?
So we didn't have to redo World War II and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That same dynamic doesn't exactly exist the same way anymore, and they're not complying, the other states.
Right. And I think we should, a realignment of some of that, like take a bunch of our troops out of Germany and move them over to Poland. Poland is a powerhouse. And they're serious. Yeah, they're footing the bill because they know that if something happens, they're like
front line
right there. Yeah,
and if Ukraine falls, they know they're in trouble. But they've already started fencing with Belarus, going there, mining the entrance from Belarus, which is good.
Yeah,
I don't blame them at all. But I think we should too. And Trump has talked about that. We probably should get out of Spain.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a nice location there by Gibraltar.
It is. Yeah, it is.
But if they're not going to let us use it, except when they think it's okay.
Yeah, that's that, and that's the thing, I don't have any heartburn about the NATO countries saying they don't want to be involved in the thing. But when they say can't, when you can't use the bases that you paid for and you don't have overfly rights.
Right.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level. Then we really need to re-examine.
They did the same thing with Gaddafi, though. When they were going after Gaddafi, the pilots that left England, those F-111s that went down there, they had to fly around it all because they couldn't fly over.
Yeah, I think I would have, if I was in charge, I would have just flown right through.
That's why you're not in charge.
Well, it's like, okay, fine, take us on. You really want to take us on? And fly right through.
Yeah.
Get the mission done.
We probably would have been okay, but that's but we're there in Germany, in Spain, to support and help Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not over there for ourselves directly. I mean, indirectly it is for us because we don't want Europe to fall and all that. But they got complacent. They just got, they did it. We gave them the opportunity to go full left, have 32-hour work weeks, and say, we don't have to spend any money. United States will do it. You guys keep working 40-hour work weeks.
Right. Yeah. And I think, being in South Korea and being in Japan are probably very good things because that's where, the biggest threat to me is.
But those guys are working.
Yeah, they are.
They take care of themselves. And
Japan's been a tremendous partner.
And I've been surprised about Japan. After World War II, they were not allowed to do most things. Right. By treaty, they just couldn't build, and we'll take care of you. And we did.
Yeah.
we protected them, and we still
helped
do.
rebuild Japan. Yes.
Well, not only rebuild it, but our military's been there
Yeah.
to make sure that no one takes
Mhm.
advantage of them now that they don't have, the big weapons. But now they seem to be getting more.
Well, I think they're looking at China and what's China's trying to intimidate them,
Yeah.
especially in some of the seas around Japan and, especially around Taiwan, but it's affecting Japan, and they are starting to realize that we got to have some of this stuff to keep China from, infringing on our freedoms and different things like that. So yes, Japan is definitely building up. They're still a self-defense force, but they're a very powerful self-defense force. And the Japanese, like South Koreans and stuff, they're very focused. It is in their face all the time. So they are very.
Taiwan's the same way.
Yeah, I think they are very ready. I mean, I was in South Korea, and one of the drills came that they thought North Korea was going, and they were like, everybody was involved. I mean, the civilian side, throwing on hard hats and going out and distributing, ammunition and those kind of stuff to the different places where
Really?
they had. But oh yeah, they were like, yeah, everybody had a job, and and I think Japan may not so much, but I think it's getting that way, especially with Japanese Navy and what.
The Navy's the one
China
thing
is
that
doing.
surprised me, how much they built that up.
Yeah.
The Navy, because that was one thing they really didn't do after World War II. I mean, they were known for having a ferocious Navy into World War II.
Yeah. Yes. Yamamoto and all of that stuff. Yeah.
Infamous.
Yes.
Of course, we beat them, but
Right.
that was a touch and go too.
Yeah. And the problem was that they didn't have the infrastructure and the materials to rebuild the
To
ships
sustain a
once they
longer
were.
war.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They had to hit fast, and otherwise they were going to lose. And they hit Pearl Harbor, and I think after Pearl Harbor they realized they didn't get far enough and that they were eventually going to lose. I think a lot of their admirals knew that.
Yeah, that's been some of the commentary. They said, "What have we done?"
Right.
Woken
a sleeping giant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like Nicole has sent us a message about the meeting on Tuesday, April 28th.
Yeah.
And that's the monthly meeting of the Yuma County Republican Party. It's going to be at the food bank, 5:30. So for those who are interested, and the guest speaker, Malba Alvarez, wonderful, Seda Alvarez, and your friend Henry Venezuela.
Yeah, Sada's a really good candidate for District 1. If she gets elected, she's going to really be good.
Yeah. District 1 has been getting a lot of accolades.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, and they just recently got voted in as one of the top 10 elementary districts or school districts in Arizona.
Yeah,
that was awesome. In fact, when I saw that, I sent a note to our two most recent, Jeff Stoner, David Ibarra.
Jeff and David Ibarra, and Keith.
Yeah, I saw all three of them. I saw two of them last night at the Doty London dinner that was honoring Tanya Wright for being the first graduate of Doty London. That's a training camp for women that want to get involved in politics, and they have a lot of elected officials that they've got under their belt that have been through the courses and been through the programs. It's a very solid program.
Yeah, it is. And I know a number of people that have gone through, but like you said, I guess
they didn't graduate.
They didn't graduate. That's what's interesting. And, it is, those programs are hard, but a lot of times they're structured more towards the metro area. And so you have to go there and do all these things. So
I don't know if that's the way this is or not. I don't know. In fact, they're having classes today in Yuma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Russ.
Well, good morning.
Well, I haven't heard your show in a long time. Sorry about that, but
well,
so I don't know. The thing I want to say you probably have talked about, but it's worth repeating and repeating and repeating. The reason why we are in Iran right now is because of the foreign policy of the Democrat Party. Barack Obama financed what we're fighting right now. Every bullet, every missile that's being thrown at our soldiers is because of the money Barack Obama robbed from the taxpayer to give to Khomeini.
Yep.
And people need to know that. But there's another thing, because we defeated them. We have defeated them with the mightiness of this military that bar none in history has ever been able to fight against. And that includes that biggest third world country, again, created by the Democrat Party, which is China. But there's something that we cannot extract right now is that uranium. How did they get a hold of all that uranium?
I would imagine. I mean, Russia's a big supplier for uranium, but I don't know. I don't know if it came from.
Then you haven't talked about it.
No.
Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton gave 1/3 of our uranium yellow cake to Iran.
I guess I'd forgot about that.
That's
That
true.
is a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a fact. Scopes can't hide. Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, all that yellow cake. 1/3 of our yellow cake supply. That's 9,000 tons.
Yeah.
9,000. That's think about what has to be moved. And there's one thing that our special forces, we can't really go after it because we run the risk of them mining that. And if that stuff blows up, it's just going to be scattered. We need to get that. Trump needs to get that all in one foul swoop and all of it. And that's the difficulty right now. That's the reason why there's this we're gonna give him 2 days again, 2 days again, because the object is to get that yellow cake back. And that's going to take boots on the ground to get. You can't blow it up.
No.
Because it'll always be there in case another mullah gets into power. And another mullah is going to get into power when the Democrat Party takes over.
I hope not, but that's a possibility. We don't know.
So, that is one thing that I'm not hearing Glenn Beck. I'm not hearing Hannity. I'm not hearing O'Reilly talk about.
Yeah.
That is the thorn right now. That is the jewel right now that we need to do. And look at the predicament that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton put us in. And those people are still breathing air. Those people are still walking around free.
Mm-hmm.
They should be in jail waiting for their indictments. But you need to pound that every day. That yellow cake is because of Hillary Clinton, who took money for her Hillary Clinton Foundation, and Barack Obama and Biden they're the reason why it's there.
Right.
1/3 of our yellow cake. Think about that. 1/3. And our guys got to go in there and get 9,000 tons and carry that to the coast or whatever. And that is a difficult thing. That is a difficult task to do, especially if those mullahs have that stuff booby trapped, which they probably do. Which is probably the reason why we haven't been able to get it.
They think some of it's where the B-2s blew it up and it would have to be gotten out, but we need to go in and get that too. That the dust, whatever it is, we need to get it.
Absolutely, but that needs to be emphasized daily. And again, who's got our megaphone? They aren't doing their job.
Yeah, we need more.
Those people are walking around free. They should be in jail waiting for their indictments like everybody else would be. And if you want to talk about that is not an example of treason. My God. What is treason then?
I-
9,000 tons, 1/3 of our yellow cake.
Yeah.
And now we have to put our men, we have to put our elite, our best of the best in harm's way to get that stuff out.
Yeah. Well, and I hope we get the opportunity to do that, to get our guys in there.
Another thing,
Yeah.
did you watch what Wentz was over in Spain
Yes.
a couple days ago?
When you talked about
denouncing
treason, I thought that's what you were going to talk about.
this country? No.
Yeah.
But that's another example of treason. Also, what is that man? He's being investigated for what he's done in Minnesota. How is he crossing the ocean to go talk in another country
He's so
to
outrageous.
denounce this country?
He's so outrageous, and what he says is so ridiculous.
You have Democrats again and again and again and again going overseas and denouncing this Constitution.
Yeah.
Barack Obama couldn't bow enough, and you had Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who's supposed to be protecting the Constitution, denouncing the Constitution overseas when that hag was still alive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I kind of like Ginsburg a little bit. I mean, she was a big liberal and all that, but at least she was honest. She's not like Ketanji Jackson that can't figure things out.
Did you listen to the debate the other night?
I saw bits of it. I saw bits of it. It was not intelligible. It was terrible.
Is a human being embarrassed?
Should be.
Is a human being embarrassed how unintellectual these Democrats are? It's just it's embarrassing. It's insulting, is what it is.
Right.
It is insulting to every white headstone that has our treasure laying underneath it to say that stuff is viable to be elected by the vote.
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous, the whole thing. Hopefully it was recognized that the Republicans could at least answer questions. So,
but when you listen to the media, they have Democrats defending that as if there's nothing wrong. Did you hear that hag on the 5?
No.
Defending it?
No.
Her logic is like the woman should be put in a straitjacket.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
I think she's got courage though to go up there and say stupid right in front of Gutfeld and all the others. I just think it's crazy. I don't know how she can go home at night. Well,
I'll tell you, Gutfeld has two sides. One, when he's by himself, man, he puts on. He's a great orator. Mm-hmm. And then there's when he's got that show, which is completely opposite, but still, that show is great.
He's flexible.
But please, for the next 6 months. For the next 6 months, let's remember Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton gave our yellow cake to our enemy.
Good point. It needs to be mentioned, buddy. I agree.
And every bullet, every missile, every soldier's boot from the Iran army is because of Barack Obama. Those are his bullets.
Yeah.
Those are his missiles. And those are his soldiers.
Well,
that's why,
we need to keep. You're right. We need to keep mentioning it. I mean, it's we talk about 47 years with Iran because no one had the courage to do it. We kept having people placate, and
absolutely
for 47 years, it took courage to do what Trump is doing. Because he didn't care about the politics of it. He's going to live with the politics of it, but he's going to do the right thing, and that's admirable.
He is avenging the USS Cole.
Yep.
He's avenging the Marine barracks that was blown up. He's avenging Benghazi, essentially.
Yeah.
And all this stuff, all of these things is because of the Democrat Party's foreign policy. You know, you look at they want to sit there and find anything to oppose Donald Trump. But if you look at the Democrat Party all the way back to Kennedy, of all the crap that a president leaves a Republican president to have to fix.
Oh yeah.
If John F. Kennedy would have given the assistance to the Cuban freedom fighters, which was the Bay of Pigs, there would not have been a Cuban Missile Crisis. And the folly of it was John F. Kennedy tried to assassinate Castro for the rest of his life, and we've been trying to assassinate John F. Kennedy Castro because Kennedy didn't have the backbone to do what a Trump is doing today.
Oh, Trump's going to take Cuba and probably Greenland.
And he should. He should. And then you had LBJ with Vietnam.
Yeah.
And then the coward sat and he quit. He quit as a president. And he left that for Richard Nixon. And when you ask people to say, when you say Vietnam, what president comes to mind? They say Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
As a Democrat, then you had Jimmy Carter, which again started this Mullah BS, which Ronald Reagan had to deal with, and he didn't.
Well, there was some skirmishes in the Strait of Hormuz during Reagan. That went down during Reagan.
And then you had Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton is responsible because of his foreign policy for the bombing of the World Trade Center. The media wants to give that credit to George W. Bush, but that was September that was what? You have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September in his new presidency that was already in play during the Clinton administration. That was 9/11 is the responsibility of the Clinton administration. Madeleine Albright and the Gorelick Wall. We need to remember these things. This is the thing that is the arc that leads to today. And this one man, and really, nobody could do what he's doing.
No.
I can't believe that Cruz, and I can't believe that Vance or Rubio would even be talking about being president. Because, who can do this after what Republican can do this after Trump?
But they're getting some great training right now, Cruz and Rubio both. And I like Rubio, what he's been as a Secretary of State. I think he's doing a great job.
Rubio is doing a stellar job, and so is Vance.
Yeah.
But when you see Rubio, he's got that look like, I don't know, if you ever had the chance to work with the expert of experts, and after you've come from a group of people who were just nothing but ragtag, and to be involved with a squared away unit, that is an amazing feeling, and that's what you see in the Rubio all the time.
Yeah.
Looking at, he can't believe this man at his age is going up and downstairs. The man doesn't sleep.
No, that's the rumor. They say he's always awake. It's tough to keep up with. Yeah, which is cool.
And Rubio goes, well, I've got to sneak away to go to sleep, and then you're embarrassed to go to sleep.
That's too bad.
So,
yeah.
But please,
all right.
keep that keep our foot on the neck of the Democrat Party. We are fighting a Cold War with the Democrat Party.
I think that's probably a fair assertion. Yeah, I think so.
We are fighting the Democrat Party hates America, and the Democrat Party hates you and the guy sitting next to you.
That's absolutely true. I've been told that.
You know, they hate you to the bone. They want you dead.
Yeah, that's
And
unfortunate.
they're just waiting. They're just waiting for the opportune time.
Oh.
If the Republican Party falls and fails to accomplish the midterms, this is all over anyway.
Yeah. I hope not, but you know, we'll see. I think it's crucial. You're exactly right. It is crucial, and it needs to happen. Right. But
Because
I appreciate the call, but I do have to run, my friend. And thank you.
Sure,
It's good to
you
hear
have to
from
be.
you.
It's good to hear from you, sir.
All right,
You have a
take
good
care.
day.
Bye bye. That was Mike. He hadn't called since I've been over here.
Yeah.
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 And at times he's hard to control, man. He's pretty passionate, but he was reasonable.
Yeah.
Well, somebody wrote in, a caller wrote in that he's misinformed under the 2015 Iran nuclear deal. Iran was allowed. That's Iran.
Iran. Yeah.
Iran was allowed to import yellowcake to maintain its nuclear energy program, but this was not a gift from the U.S. government. Reports indicate that Iran was permitted to purchase over 100 tons of uranium from Kazakhstan to restock its supplies to continue its nuclear power program. I think they're both right. It was under the veil of nuclear power.
Right.
It was, and I had forgotten about the yellow cake.
Yeah.
But
I do
it was a
remember that.
gift to let them do it. Whether we paid for it or not doesn't
Right.
matter.
Right.
It was a gift to let them do it.
Who did Hillary Clinton? Did Hillary Clinton
Yeah,
give
she
up
was-
the
she
yellow
was-
cake
she was
to
second.
Russia, or was it? Who was
I think it was
to?
Russia.
Yeah, which could have ended up in
I think that's where that went.
Iran.
I don't know, but
yeah, she did. She did give away a third of our yellow cake. Uranium material. I think everything else he said was correct.
yeah.
It was just-
Possibly. I mean, he's a little stronger than I'd be. But,
Well,
he's a
he's-
little harsher than.
Yeah, there are a lot of people in the country though that are getting upset because nothing happens. These people don't get, like Omar and the people don't, and Pelosi gets away with what she's worth, a couple $100 million now,
Yeah.
and I guess Elon Musk just had a post about that average net worth of a congressman or whatever retiring is 20 million when they make what 200,000 a year.
That's just great investments.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and you almost can't live in DC on 200,000. The
No,
way they
it's expensive
do when
place.
yeah. But I know they get all kinds of
Well, and they have
perks and stuff.
Well, they have other budgets to spend for their regular routine
Yeah.
expenses and stuff.
Which a lot of it ends up in their own pocket.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do the books, but
Yeah.
again, like I forget, it was a couple $1 million, but that has to go towards paying staff and paying
Right.
Expenses and doing stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, they do get
so many
budgets.
paid staff members, and
Yeah.
that's all appropriate. But
Right.
it is an issue about how they go in making, I guess,
Couple hundred thousand,
middle
less-
high salaries and walk out multimillionaires.
Okay, Edward sent me the article on Clinton and the Ukrainian. I mean,
Okay.
the yellow cake.
Okay.
Apparently, Jeff Sessions was had a special counsel appointed to investigate the Clinton specifically about all that. So,
But
And that was-
nothing ever happened. So that's the issue.
well, we would know if it happened, but
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Okay. The deal in question involves a sell Canadian company, Ukrainian one, with mining interests in U.S. Say Russia's nuclear agency. The sale occurred in stages between 2009, when Rosatom purchased a minority stake in Uranium One, and continued in 2010 when Russia agency took ownership of 51% share of the company. In 2013, the third gave Rosatom full ownership of Uranium One. Because uranium is considered an asset, the national security implications. 2010 sale was subject to approval by the Committee of Foreign Investments of the United States, an intergovernmental agency that included input from the Department of State, Treasury Justice, Energy, Commercial, and then as well as U.S. trade representatives. So the allegations was that presidential nominee Hillary Clinton, who was Secretary of State, when that purchase got done, donors to the Clinton Foundation given $145 million to charitable fund to them.
There you go.
Wow. Critics allege that Clinton greenlighted the sale to appease donors.
I think she did.
That's hard to prove, though.
Yeah, I know.
You can't. I mean, it looks like it's more than coincidence, but you can't. Unless you got some emails or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, she bleach bit all her devices, so.
No, they got it all back. You know, she thought it was gone forever.
Yeah, nothing's gone forever.
Yeah. Edwards sends me a little poster, says you never see a poor second-term member of Congress.
Yeah. Yep.
A question from one of my listeners is: are Jewish Americans who speak out against Israel's action in Gaza and Lebanon anti-Semitic?
No, I don't think so.
Well, that'd be like Justice Thomas speaking badly about some black activists. Is he racist?
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
You know, you have to remember that the start of this, of course, was October 7th, where the Palestinians attacked them, and you just have to believe. And Hamas and Hezbollah, were behind this, and Hezbollah was behind the Beirut bombing in '83.
Yes, and we know that Iran's behind Hezbollah. So
right, exactly.
But
so I don't have a whole lot of pity for these guys at all.
Even though Israel is a Jewish nation, it's a government. A government's not a religion necessarily, although and I don't think it's being run by religious zealots or anything, but they want to survive. I mean, they got everybody after them.
Iran, you're talking about?
No,
now?
Israel.
Yeah. No, I don't think Iran was. I think it was a religious.
Oh, they are, but I was saying
country, but I don't think Israel is. I think it's more.
It's a Jewish state. They consider it a Jewish state.
Yeah,
but if they do something wrong, it's not anti-Semitic to say they did something I don't like.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Like I don't like that. Spain is not letting us in there and use our military bases. That doesn't mean I'm anti-Spanish.
No.
Yeah, it's the government actions.
No.
Yeah, and all that. You heard of Vexit? The term you heard Brexit,
right,
but now there's a Vexit, and that's for Virginia.
Oh,
and there's a movement to have some Virginia counties leave Virginia and go to West Virginia.
Yeah.
Did you know the history of West Virginia?
No, I don't.
I didn't. I had to.
Was it a split off from Virginia?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, West Virginia, 55 counties succeeded from then Confederate Virginia in June of 1863 to remain with the United States.
Okay.
I did not know that history.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did that, but I didn't know it. Since then, there have been various calls for those of the old Commonwealth who believe they've lost their political voice to discover redder pastures.
Mm-hmm.
So West Virginia State Senator Chris Rose is announcing a Vexit movement and asking for counties to come join him.
Well, it's probably an anti-Spanberger because Spanberger.
Oh yeah,
she's like,
she's nothing that she's promoted to be.
Yeah, she's right up there with Walz and Newsom as the worst governors in the country.
Has she already reached that point?
Yes. Yeah, she turned the corner right away when she said, "Oh, I'm this," and then she gets in office and does the exact opposite.
I didn't pay much attention to her run when she ran, but she ran as a moderate and all that.
Yep.
But I look at Ruben Gallego the same way. He ran as something. He ran like he was a Ronald Reagan Democrat, and boy, he's as much a progressive as any of them.
Right. Yeah.
I don't see any sense and sensibility. He's not like a Fetterman that uses his own mind.
Right. But the good thing, and I'm waiting to see what happens with the Alberta Canada vote if they get to go independent.
Well, I think they're going to go independent, but that doesn't mean they go to the United States.
Right. And that's fine. But I mean, they have plenty of oil and all that kind of stuff to make the country viable. But of course, the Virginia courts threw out the redistricting thing where they went 6 Republican seats and 5 Democrat seats
But
to
that- but-
10-1.
Well, and there's a few things about that. Yeah, they did. The judge right away said that they didn't follow proper procedures to do the referendum in the first place.
Yep, it was unconstitutional.
Unconstitutional.
Yep.
And there's more unconstitutional than that, but that was the only one they worried about.
Yeah.
They have in their constitutions some specifics on drawing up some mapping that they didn't follow.
Right. One,
They didn't even get to that.
90 days notice they didn't go to.
Yeah.
And then there's
And that's the one that they threw it out on.
right. And then there's also a procedure where it has to go through two cycles or something in the
They didn't do any of it.
Congress.
They went through
and-
one.
And the first time that, according to their constitution, that would be eligible to redistrict would be 2027 because they got to go through these different things. And the people specifically put that in place to stop things
Like this.
that would happen in one cycle.
But you know what the Virginia governor and the attorney general of Virginia said after that was that it was an activist judge that ruled that.
Yeah.
Actually, it was one that could read.
Yeah. All you have to do. That's what judges are supposed to do.
This
interpret
was
the law.
literally in the law.
Yeah. They're supposed to interpret the law and interpret
Yeah.
the Constitution,
Right.
which he did. And
It's going to be appealed. Obviously,
Yeah.
they already.
well,
Um,
but the key thing that I took out of it too is they asked for a stay, which usually if there's any chance that they have standing and it would be overturned, that they will put a stay in place.
Yeah.
But the judge says, oh, hell no.
yeah.
No, it's going right now. You're not going to certify the election. You're not doing anything. This is done. It's over.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would think so. Well, this exit now to West Virginia, I don't know how easy that is. I get the impression it is not easy. I think in the past, it's been people from Oregon want to go to Utah or some counties,
Mm-hmm.
but
Well,
they have to
yeah.
get both states to agree, from what I understand on that. And I'm not thorough on that law. Apparently, during the Civil War period, they didn't because they just took off.
Yeah.
And now even the governor of Massachusetts, Patrick Morrissey, is asking for the same thing. He likes the idea that you guys could come home, and come to Charleston.
Yeah.
It's I think it's easy. I think it's interesting. I think what I'd rather see is something that I read the other day about the possibility of giving the property back to DC that Virginia took back in 1790 when they developed the District of Columbia. Virginia gave 5 square miles of property, and Maryland gave 5 square miles of property to create the
Right.
District of Columbia.
Right.
During the Civil War, or around 1863 or so, in that area, Virginia took it back, which would be Alexandria. And that is the big blue of Virginia that controls
Oh.
everything.
That would be neat.
So it actually was stolen back from DC during that time frame, and no one's challenged it to the Supreme Court.
Hmm.
But that was a donation of 5 square miles. That if they
that's
gave that
interesting.
back,
Yeah.
the Pentagon and everything would be back in DC, and that's one of the wealthiest counties in the country because it's all bureaucrats and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
that's, it's interesting when things like that happen, but I mean, we don't have to go very far. When La Paz County split off of Yuma County,
Right.
we had the same type of thing here. The people in La Paz, even though there were only very few people, felt they weren't represented. And so
Right.
they wanted to split off. And of course,
That was all
after-
agreed to.
it was a mess.
Was it?
Oh yeah. It was a horrendous mess. There were still problems, years and years later
what were there financial problems?
well,
or-
yeah. And La Paz has financial problems.
Well, yeah, they don't
because-
have a lot of things going on as
No.
far as industry and or tourism or anything.
Yeah,
They're
there's not a lot of
Not a
money
lot.
coming
Yeah.
in, and it was so bad that I believe the state passed laws that basically it could never happen again because it was
What's-
such a mess.
split a county.
Yeah,
Our counties are so huge. You got states with 200 and 300 counties.
Yeah.
We've got 15.
yeah, I know. I'm working up in Minnesota. They have 87
Yeah.
counties, and God, it's a mess. They can't. Yeah, they have a hard time getting anything done because then, of course, there's county governments and then there's city governments, and the city in some places covers almost the whole county, and it's
Right.
total mess up there.
And I'm sure you got cities that are in multiple counties there. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure we do in Arizona somewhere, but it would be hard to do. I mean, our counties are so huge.
Yeah, and everybody hates Hennepin County, where Minneapolis, St. Paul are at. So
Well, they've earned it.
yeah, they have. Well deserved.
I'm not gonna cheat them out of that.
Well deserved.
I'm not gonna cheat them out of that at all.
Yeah.
You see that Jeffries, I didn't know him very well. I mean, I didn't pay much attention to him when he was first elected and all that. The more I see him now, I mean, he's horrible.
He's one of these guys that's not very smart.
I don't think so.
I don't, he got into his position. I don't know how he got into his position, probably because he was a yes man or something, but and had a loud mouth.
He's doing what his
the
rest of the progressives want.
Right.
So he must have earned it in that respect, and that he's doing that. But he was very supportive of the Virginia thing, which the progressives all were.
Right.
And they all, I don't know what his comments were afterwards. I didn't read them, but he wants to stop Ron DeSantis from splitting his redistricting going on. And he's offered to go down there. I'm going to go down there.
To help them so they can do the redistricting?
No, just the opposite. Just the opposite. He wants to go down and he wants to disrupt it. He says, he pointed to an announcement Thursday morning from a top super PAC aligned with the House Democrats that will shell out $20 million to target potential vulnerable Florida Republican members of Congress. Move is making it clear that we're on an offensive. That's our Democratic gift to Ron DeSantis and the Florida Republicans, who he's putting in jeopardy. So DeSantis has answered him, and I don't know if you saw that, but he's like invited him.
Yes,
to the mansion.
We'll let
you come on down. I'll take you fishing.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm like DeSantis. I think if Jeffries went down there, he would help that thing pass, because so many people out of Florida left, DC and California and New York, and to get the hell away from the nonsense to get down there. So I think Jeffries would actually help get that thing across the finish line if they do it.
Well, DeSantis thinks the same as you, because he said, "Please be my guest. I will pay you to come down to Florida to campaign.
We'll fund you. You want a campaign contribution to come to Florida? Let's go."
Jeffries argued that redrawing the maps in a state where the GOP suffered setbacks earlier this year, and he's talking about the special election. In a special election would harm Republican members of Congress. Our message to Florida Republicans is F around and find out. Now, he stole a Trump slogan.
Right.
I don't know if he's copyrighted it, Trump, but
I don't think he's copyrighted that. But so the things that I look at, and I understand that they're like red, but the red states have grown dramatically in population because people have left.
Right.
And, that was one of the justifications of Texas, is that population was so increased so much that they needed to redraw. And it was in their constitution that they could do it. And the same thing's in Florida. I mean, Florida's gone crazy with New Yorkers moving south. Tons of people. So redistricting there, and I understand it's a Republican thing, but redistricting there might actually be justified. But whether he does it or not, I don't know. But Texas and Florida, so Tennessee is another one. Tennessee is another one that's grown tremendously in population. So they have redistricting in those three states, and I think Tennessee is mainly conservative, except probably around Nashville.
I don't think they're on the list for any redistricting.
Right.
And we're not. Arizona's not. We
couldn't do it now with Hobbs in place anyway.
But this Missouri, Ohio, and North Carolina are still looking at it. And, Trump has asked them all to do it. Yeah. I heard an interesting, comment, from an analyst on the Virginia one.
Mm-hmm.
And he stated, looking at the last election and all that, the way people voted, the new map that they came up with isn't going to flip those seats.
That's what I was wondering, because I looked at some of it, and even though they had them shaded light blue,
Yeah.
there's like possibility that could not happen.
Well, this analyst looked at the voting who people voted for last. And even though they think it's primarily Democrat, it voted Republican.
Yeah.
In the last elections in some of those seats. So he says that 10-1 is a pipe dream. They may pick up one,
Yeah.
If any, but they're going to. But that's pretty much a split state. It's pretty close to 50-50.
It is a purple state.
So how are you going to make it 10-1?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's enough gerrymandering ability. I mean, that's an interesting theory. I don't even think California is going to do what they think they're going to do.
Yeah.
They said they're going to flip 5, but
Yeah, I'm wondering about some of those in California too. But one of the things that people don't take into account is like there's like Republicans, there's Democrats, but then there's usually a big pool of independents that are almost as big as either the Republicans or the Democrats or bigger. Yeah, exactly. And that's where a lot of elections are decided. I mean, you get some crossover votes, but not many.
it's not an exact science. And this, if you remember right, when Obama was in his first term, how many seats did he lose in the House? Like 40 or something?
Yeah, it's
And-
40 something.
And it wasn't due to redistricting. It was a swing in voters.
Yeah.
You didn't have to draw new lines. But everyone talks about this redistricting like it's a guarantee.
Yeah.
Like we're going to get 5 seats. We're going to get 2 seats or whatever. I don't think those guarantees exist. I mean,
No.
it gives an advantage maybe
don't.
based
Yeah.
on registration.
Yeah,
That's all they can look at.
Yeah, and we see right here in Arizona, there are some districts that are swing districts that they thought they're going to go one way or the other, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. I think
We got Michelle Pena that won in a district that's blue.
very blue. And she won twice. The second time, they spent a ton of money to flip it.
Yes.
And she got more.
Right.
Because they were brutally nasty to her. And
They were.
she's a wonderful lady.
Yeah.
And doing a great job. And I
Yep.
think people resented the way they handled her.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my guess.
Yep.
But she really didn't do well. There's something I think, and I think this was Florida, something in their constitution that doesn't allow them to redistrict based on party advantage. Of course, they're redistricting for party advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know I don't know how that works.
I don't know.
That's up to the constitutional lawyers, and that's a state constitution. And I think it was Florida that I read that on.
Yeah.
That and I think that's the way it should be. I mean, to redistrict but everybody does it,
Yeah. I mean,
including here.
you can't do it by race. You can't consider race anymore.
No, and that
which
used
I
to be
agree
it,
with.
where you had a minority majority
Right.
districts.
Right.
Yeah.
And I agree with that too. So I would like Arizona to go back to where each county gets 2 senators, and then you get 1 representative, and then more representatives based upon your
But
population.
the counties are so differently weighed. I mean, look at, Greenlee County or something. You got to get 2 senators. There's 8,000 people there.
Yeah, but
we get more people at the ballpark on Friday.
yeah, but but that's the way. That's the easiest way to do it. That's all representation is local then, and I think we used to be that way.
I'm agreeing with you
Yeah.
on that. Well, it did used to be that way, and
Yeah.
they changed that based on the representation stuff. I can't remember the dates. I think like in the 50s or something.
Right.
And they actually reduced the number in the House at that time. The House is 60 now. I think it used to be 70, and it went down to 60 somehow.
And I do understand that Maricopa County then would have a ton of state representatives.
They would own it.
Yeah, but
Why would you want it?
But you'd have the metro area have a huge influence in the House, but then you'd have the rural areas have a huge
more
influence
dominant.
in the Senate, and so it would be a balancing act.
The last recommendation I saw on redistrict on redoing what we have, because each one of our representatives represents, I can't remember the exact number, but it's between 200,000 and 300,000 people. 200,000 and 300,000.
I don't remember.
That's the second in the nation as far as the number of people they represent. Other states, and when we first started, it was like 80,000, and now it's up to that high. I've heard a recommendation that we leave the districts the way they are, but we split them into thirds, and we hire. We have an elected representative for each third, each 1/3,
Mhm.
which would put it all close together.
Right.
And then they would represent their constituents, be close to them. They could, you could walk over to their house instead of trying to get on an airplane to fly to Tucson and get a signature or something, which we do now.
Yeah.
They do that now. I like that. And I would add 30 members.
Mhm. But
To-
then they'd have to
they'd
get a
have-
bigger building.
Well, somebody would be, in a different building for a while until they could to build on. They'd have to build on office space because you'd
Yeah.
have 30 new reps. But
Right.
but still, even then, they wouldn't be the highest. I mean, they would still reach the middle pack of representation.
Mhm.
It'd be in the a little over
Yeah.
100,000 each, which I kind of like that. But leave the Senate alone, at 30, and go on
Yeah.
with the House like that. I kind of like that one.
Mhm.
That would, and it would still be districted by population instead of. And I think that we had to do it by population. I think that was a
Yes.
Supreme Court thing.
Yeah, I
somehow.
think so. I like the idea of splitting Maricopa County into 4 counties that they were trying to push around a couple years ago.
I like
They even
that.
had names of the counties.
I think we should send Maricopa County to Virginia.
Fairfax. Put it in Arlington so it could go into DC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go to in Arlington.
Yeah.
They'll feel at home there.
Yeah, but the truth, what happens in a lot in Maricopa County is they don't determine any election because the two parties cancel each other out. So it's really what happens outside of Maricopa County,
Mm-hmm.
whichever way the independents and Republicans,
Right.
move outside of Maricopa County. Yeah.
So Pope Leo, you've been
Mhm.
paying a little bit of attention to.
A little bit. Yeah.
I guess he's tired of it. I think, or at least somebody's
So
telling
he's
him.
going to resign.
No. And no. I think he's tired of the battle with Trump. And if you read all the comments, I don't think it's really a battle. It's not it's not like a political where there's name calling and lying and stuff like that, but just opinion stuff. But
Well, he did some stuff before he became Pope on Trump too.
well, Trump has exposed that.
Yeah.
Because he deleted all his social media accounts where he was more of an anti-Trumper.
Yeah. Nothing's ever deleted.
And no, it doesn't go away.
Hillary found that out.
But Pope has been making some comments now. He just got out of Africa, he did a tour of Africa and all that kind of stuff. He says one day Iran says yes, the United States says no, and vice versa. Keeps going. And we don't know where this is going to lead, which has created, again, this chaotic situation critical for the world economy. There's nothing wrong with any of that. That's all obvious and true.
Yep.
He said that U.S. and Iranian leaders have not been able to get the diplomatic efforts to end the war back on track. And that's all true. And I don't think it's possible with the current situation where you have the Islamic Guard that is running by force the entire country, and they don't want anything but war.
Yeah. I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible to negotiate with the Republican Guard the way it is right now.
No, but I think what Trump is betting on is that they're going to get overwhelmed by opposition forces, and there's internal strife.
And when people don't get paid and they can't eat and all these things, they tend to
get crazy.
I'm going to go do something else. Yeah.
Now, Pope Leo has said there is also an entire population of Iran of innocent people who are suffering because of this war. True.
Yeah. Like
yeah, exactly
89
right.
million of them. Yeah.
And if anybody mentions that, I mean, Trump is in line with you. I mean, he mentions that about Ukraine all the time, that we need to stop this stuff. I mean, he's not against all that. And I think that's what Trump's trying to do, and he doesn't want to stop it temporarily.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the key things that you can pick up on is when a country stops the internet, takes the internet offline so people can't get out, they can't put information out, they can't learn what's going on. I think that is a key indicator that who's ever in charge is wrong, because they don't want the truthful information to get out and get in. So I think that's the key.
I think
in this whole
that's
thing.
what the Democrats were doing. They were editing out. They had FBI or different government agencies and Facebook and
Right.
Twitter and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. They were censoring,
Yes.
which is just a step above stopping.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Well, that's why, Elon buying X was probably one of the key things.
He did
on
us a
social
favor,
media.
did he
That
not?
was one of the key things on social media that happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Well, while Pope Leo was on the plane, I guess he did a lot of. I mean, these guys have more similarities, Trump and Pope Leo. I think that they do differences. While he was on the plane, he walks to the back to talk to the reporters.
Yeah.
He was asked about reports about the hardline Iranian regime was executing political opponents. Good for those reporters.
Yeah. That's a good question.
And he condemns capital punishment and the taking of people's lives. So when a country takes decisions in which takes away the lives of other people unjustly, then obviously that is something that should be condemned. I mean, him and Trump are going to have a difference on that. But he's appearing to, according to this article, dialing down the tension with Trump when he says, it is not my interest at all to debate the U.S. president.
Yeah. Well, he would lose in that one, I think.
So I don't know who would, and you don't want it to happen anyway.
Right.
But there's a emotional tie to the Catholic leadership, and the say and all that stuff. To see, he said when he asked Thursday about the contentiousness issue of immigration, I personally think that a state has a right to implement rules for their borders, and I do not say that everyone should enter without order, creating situations which can sometimes be even more unjust in the places where they are arriving to then from where they were just left. I was like shocked. I didn't get the impression. I mean, I got the impression that he was, bashing the United States about immigration.
Right.
Well, he starts off the whole thing with he's okay with it, which makes sense because they got walls around the Vatican.
Yes. It'd be pretty hard for them to criticize because they built those walls.
But I felt like he was criticizing.
At the beginning, yeah.
Yeah,
I thought he was too.
But he goes on here. He laid the responsibility for easing the immigration crisis on wealthy countries rather than on desperate migrants trying to escape poverty in their home countries. I don't totally disagree with that, but I think as a wealthy country, I mean, our responsibility is to say no. Well, what good does it do to have these people escape and come here, and have these countries empty their jails and empty their prisons and send them to the United States? I mean,
and I understand how a religious leader would basically want to redistribute. That's what he's talking about.
Redistributing
wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He asked, what do we do in richer countries to change the situation to the poor countries? And that's a fair question. What can we do in richer countries? Is we should export intelligence, and that's through schools and education or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. And we do that. We do. And why can we not find help from states for investments also in large, rich, multinational companies to change the situation in countries like those we've traveled to during this trip? And we do that.
Well, and I think that's what Trump's trying to do with Iran. Make Iran great again.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I say,
and it used to be that way. That's what's so crazy.
Oh, it was. You look back at old footage from the 70s and stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was at the forefront. I mean, Iran was
it looked
a very
like any
modern,
Western country.
Yeah. Iran was a very modern country, one of the leaders in the Middle East. And and it was a tremendous, a great country. Now of course they had problems just like every other country. And they finally got sick of the Shah and kind of threw him out. But that country just went down the tubes overnight. I mean, within a year, it was just a shadow of itself.
Yeah. I think what spurred on the Islamic takeover, though, was bell bottoms and long hair. I think that was it. That was a very bad design. I mean, very bad fashion. I think so. They made him say,
showing too much hair.
Yeah, the Habib will be better.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Let me see. He says, currently Texas is on track to flip the Senate seat in November. I don't know that. That's from a listener. He says, my Pope, which this must be a Catholic, is a much better debater than Trump. Well, and I think that he feels that's right. And the Pope is going to be speaking from a different level, a different thing. It's not a fair I don't think we should do that debate. I don't want to see that debate.
No,
I don't want to see him engaged in the politics, and I don't want to see Trump
No.
engaged with that at all.
no.
He said he would pay to see it. The Holy Father was following the Sermon on the Mount when he's talking about issues with Trump, and I don't know where that comes in. I'd have to go back and see where that connection is.
Yeah.
But I think everything that the Pope is saying right now is aligned with what Trump is saying,
Yes.
with the exception of the military side.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I mean, but he wants to create the same thing. He
Well,
wants to
but-
make Iran rich. He wants to make the
Yeah.
people of Iran have a free voice.
Yeah. Well, war is politics by other means, but it's usually the last resort.
Yeah.
And and I think Trump agrees with that. I mean,
Yeah.
he would much rather negotiate and get where we need to be than use the military. But and he said himself, he goes, I never expected to use the military as much as I have,
Yeah.
after rebuilding it. And I
It's-
absolutely believe him. But
It's been phenomenal though.
yeah.
The military has been beyond expectation. And I saw a bit like when Reagan had the conflict in the Straits with Iran back in the 80s, I think. it was.
80s, yeah, early 80s, yeah.
Iran did a lot of damage to us. You know, they took out, they hit ships, and in fact, there was a destroyer they showed that hit a mine. The Iranians would run out and put mines in front of it. It hit a mine, and it pushed it up out of the water and broke the back of it and all that kind of stuff. And they credit the captain with saving that ship. They actually used chains to tie the two parts of the ship together, like it really
Oh yeah.
blew it
Yeah.
apart, and they salvaged it and got it back to harbor. And then that ship was fixed and was put back in service for 22 years.
Wow.
I wouldn't think that. I mean, that should have been at the bottom of the
Yeah.
ocean.
I don't remember that part, but I do remember Reagan basically said, yeah, sink the Iranian Navy.
Oh, he did. He
Yeah.
did half of it and he called it off.
Yeah.
He could have done it
Mm-hmm.
all, but he called it off. He wanted to make a point. And I guess they listened because it backed off. It didn't.
Yeah.
You would think they would back off now, but they're not going to. From at least not yet.
Yeah.
They haven't.
Well, they're in such a corner right now. Eventually it's going to get there one way or the
Right.
other. That's the way I look at it. That my only concern is if we go back to dropping bombs, that we go back in there. There's something called SEAD, suppression of enemy air defense, to make sure that, and I know the intel guys are on this, but to make sure that China or Russia, or they haven't reconstituted some of their air defense, so we don't go in there, that we basically have to kind of start over, making sure that that's all
Right.
still suppressed before we start flying in there. We just don't go in and hit it. But I do have confidence that we have smart guys in the military.
And if stuff has been moved in, they probably already know when and where.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't
One
know.
of the things, share some of my tactic insight. Trump wants to be very careful to not destroy things that are going to affect the civilian infrastructure or that are going to cause long-term damage.
Because he wants it built back.
Yeah. But one of the things that I think, instead of, if they do have to hit again, instead of hitting the power plants, they should hit the
Distribution.
power distribution
Yeah.
next to the power plants.
Yeah.
And I mean, I even thought about even going back to using napalm, because napalm would be very effective against the poles and wires and just would melt it. And it would
Right.
cause a huge fire plume that would basically psychological too.
And
And
if they did the distribution points, that would shut it down for months, but not for
right.
not for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or several years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I think the approach should be. And they don't need necessarily, I mean, the distribution centers are pretty large and they don't
Mhm.
need, precise weapons and that kind of stuff.
and,
to
there-
hit it.
and there's not spares sitting around, and we don't even have spares for all
Right.
that stuff.
Yeah. And they could start rebuilding it, but it would take them a long time to put it, months to put it back in place. And it would accomplish the same thing as taking out the
Right.
power plants. But, it's like, okay, I want to get my suggestion up to them, but I got to believe that they're thinking about all that.
They would have to be.
Yeah. Cause it's like, you don't want to bomb a huge nuclear power plant because residual radiation and all that
Right.
kind of stuff, would be
Right.
bad for.
I mean, in Japan, we
Decades.
took out cities,
Right.
and of course they've been rebuilt now.
Right.
but that takes decades.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're right. And I think Trump wants to legitimately get the
Yeah.
Iranian people back on.
Yeah.
He's a business guy. He wants to give them business opportunities.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that's what he's been doing across the globe is
Yeah.
working out.
And you take out that hub that's next to the plant and that will take care of it. You don't have to take out all the lines. You just take out that hub and it drops the power grid, and the rest of it remains in place. So they just have to rebuild that, which, you're talking a couple $1 million instead of hundreds of millions or billions of dollars if you take out the power plants.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway,
I think that makes sense. But now if you take out the bridges, some of those bridges will take a few years to build.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
You
You're
know,
gonna have to do that.
Yeah, there are workarounds around bridges and those types of things that can be done. And
I read an article they're already starting to work on that one bridge that has been taken out.
I'm sure.
Starting to work on the reconstruction type stuff.
Mhm.
But where's the money going to come from? They don't have the money right
Yeah,
now.
they don't have the money anymore.
Yeah.
So, and then the Republican Guard then has got to divert money from trying to do weapons to actually do an infrastructure, which started this whole thing,
Right.
is because they put all their money into weapons and building of weapons instead of infrastructure and taking care of the people. That's what started this whole thing.
Right. I guess they felt once they get to be nuclear power, that's some kind of, and it is. It's
Mhm.
some kind of deterrent. Look at North Korea has got nuclear
Look
power.
at Ukraine. Ukraine gave up their nukes. Look
They
what
did.
happened to them.
They did.
Yeah, I know.
And Russia would not have invaded probably.
Oh no, they never would have, because Ukraine would have used them.
Right. And part of Ukraine giving them up,
Yeah.
they had a treaty with Russia and the United States
Yes,
that we would protect them and they'll never invade.
and Russia would never invade, and the U.S. would protect them.
Right. And neither one happened.
And how did that go, Joe Biden?
It didn't go.
Yeah, right.
And that didn't get talked about much in the news.
Yeah. Well, it's
It's a 20-year-old treaty, so
yeah.
they didn't want to worry about it
well, we reneged on
on our end.
our end too.
Yeah. And Putin had to know we would.
Well, they had Joe Biden in office.
Yeah. So they weren't worried.
And I do agree. Trump has said it a million times, but I do agree that if Trump had been in office,
Wouldn't
they
have done it.
never would have. If Reagan would have been in office, they never
wouldn't
would
have
have
done
done it.
No.
I think even if Bill Clinton had been in office, they wouldn't have done it. Jimmy Carter, yeah, probably.
He picked his time, and Putin was wrong though, because he underestimated Ukraine, not United
Yeah.
States. I think he got the United
time.
States right
Yes, he did.
for the time.
Mhm.
I don't know how he gets out of it now. I mean, his progress is constantly going the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, and I think Putin was also shocked that Trump got back in office.
I think everybody was.
Yeah, maybe even Trump.
I think everybody.
I think Trump was shocked he won the first time.
Yeah.
I think the second time he felt the country calling him.
But boy, you talk about prepared. He spent 4 years preparing.
Yeah, this term, the cabinet that he has and the people that he has, they're the best that I've ever seen during my lifetime. And there's been some good ones.
And I get a lot of comments that, he didn't get it right because he's had to fire so many, because Noam's gone and they just fired the Navy secretary.
No, that's
I don't care.
That's the way Trump works.
I know.
He's worked that in the civilian sector. So what he does is he hires great people that can do great things. And then when they get those things done, it's like, okay, well, who can do the next thing for me? And then he said, okay, you did a great job. Thank you very much. I love you to death. And now go do something else, and I'll bring in the next person to bring it to the next step.
And those people like Bondi, she's going to make tons more money than she was ever making here. And that the guy with the Navy, though, apparently he was having some disagreements with the Pentagon, and there were some things going on. Yeah. And that one was a disagreement type thing, but it wasn't nasty. In fact, Trump wished him well and everything. There is no.
Yeah. Well, it's okay.
Like he had with Jeff Sessions. Remember, that was really a lot of negative in the and that's not happening.
No. Well, somebody expresses their opinion, is this is what we need to do, and the boss says no, we're going here. And if it's like, okay, if you're not on board with that, let's just go do something else. It's
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
It's
And
okay. Go do something else.
and the Secretary of the Navy, good friends with Trump.
Yeah. Well,
It doesn't matter though. I mean, I'm glad he puts business separate.
yeah, but it was curious. They had a disagreement about how to rebuild the Navy.
Right.
Yeah.
The Navy
And-
ships, and
right.
he wanted to outsource them or something more.
Yeah. And it was curious. And I think there's a balance with that, but it was curious that he got to be Secretary of Navy with no military experience.
Right. He's
Because-
an investment guy, and
Yeah, he's a business guy and all that kind of stuff, which is good.
right.
But it is curious,
But they were talking about submarines, particularly some of these and those things are very secret.
Yes,
you
they
know,
are. Well,
and-
that's why they cover up the propellers and all
Yeah,
that
they
kind of
don't
stuff.
let you see it,
Right.
and you can't just take those to a foreign country and let them start working on it. I don't.
No.
I mean, the security on those.
Well, and that's why when we lost Subic Bay after the Philippines, that's why that was very critical. We lost that port out there in the Far East.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Subic Bay was a very important port to
But
the
it's gone.
U.S.
Yeah.
Well, we lost it, with the whole Marcos thing, and we had to leave. We left our bases there and all that stuff, and the U.S. presence there was huge for the Philippine economy.
Yeah.
I think when they
They had to-
when they booted us out, I think their economy tanked. They were having a hard time, but we've been somewhat welcomed back into the Philippines. I haven't been there for.
That was a favorite port of call for a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Subic Bay, the Philippines. Yeah,
Um,
we had some big ranges up there, Crow Valley bombing ranges and stuff. Yeah.
One thing about this submarine, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the one that they're working on is like months behind
Mhm.
and over budget, and those things will make Trump cranky.
Yeah. Well, one of the things. So I was in acquisition and procurement for the military.
Mhm.
And yeah, there's a built-in bureaucracy into some of it. Surprisingly, not really in the Marine Corps. It's not that way in the Marine Corps. In the Army and Navy, and I think in the Air Force, there's a built-in bureaucracy. And when I went into acquisition, normally you have one project and you take that to fruition, and whatever they have 8 categories depending on how much money and how much it takes to get a project done. But when I left, I had 7 programs because we had cut through the chase and accelerated the program. One of my programs, I was able to field 5 years early and $150 million under budget. And the Army did not like that.
Why?
So, and I don't want to get way into the weeds, but in the Marine Corps, you're paid for out of a certain pot of money. They have different pots of money: research and development, operation and maintenance, and then what's the third? Actual procurement money. And in the Army, they have civilians in the offices that are paid for out of the pot of the money that you're in.
Oh,
And so their focus is on making sure that they get to keep that program alive as long as possible, because that's how they get paid until the next program comes on. And depending upon where it's at, if it's in the research and development phase or the procurement phase where most of the money is, or the operation maintenance money, when you get to the operation maintenance money, the money level cuts down. And so they cut the staff. Marine Corps, it doesn't work that way. You're paid for, and like I had a contracts officer and myself, and then there were some engineers that were on staff that I could pull on. But literally, I was like I want to say a one-man show for my programs. But you go to the Army and there's like 30, 50 people running the programs, and they're lead service, so they need a few more. But that's the difference. That's why Marine Corps programs not all of them, because there are some screwed up Marine Corps programs too, but why they tend to get fielded faster and keep on budget, and why the Marine Corps passes their audit and none of the other services
Wow.
do. And because the Marine Corps, as you know, is the only service that's been able to pass their audit for the
I did
last
not know
several
that.
years. Yeah.
I didn't think any of them did.
No, the Marine Corps has. They passed, I think at least the last 3 years and stuff. It's because the Marine Corps is very lean. And a lot of these acquisition programs, the Marine Corps, not necessarily the lead service, but they cut to the chase. I think that's the Marine Corps procurement cuts to the chase. And I think that's why things get out faster. But that's why a lot of the programs are, over budget. And it's not just the military, it's also the civilian side. The major companies want these programs to stretch out and that kind of stuff, and they don't do a good job. SpaceX, a great example. When you look at NASA versus SpaceX, it's like NASA is doing things but it's way more expensive. But SpaceX is doing 10 times with a quarter of the money. And you look at the difference in the programs and what SpaceX is achieving versus what NASA is achieving. And not that there's anything greatly wrong with NASA, because Boeing, all the problems they've had with their capsule, because Boeing is one of those defense contractors that's been around for a long time.
And going over budget's not a big deal. The government pays for it.
And why does it take so long, for Raytheon to build a missile? And and why does it cost so much, and why does it take so long to build a missile, and those types of things where SpaceX is kind of like the Marine Corps. They're just cut to the chase. Let's get this thing done, and this is what we want to do. How do we get there the fastest and cheapest? And so that's, if you compare SpaceX to NASA, that's kind of what the comparison I would make between some of the other services and the way they do procurement and those types
I think
of
the
things.
next major, funder, of armaments and everything's gonna be Ukraine. I mean, they just started it right now, but they're doing so much on the cheap. Well, it always starts off on the cheap. It always starts at the low end.
Well, the thing that I liked, that I heard, was about where they took the Iranian drone, pulled it back to the U.S., re-engineered.
That's the U.S. that did that, but a private business.
Yeah, but I think those are the things that we're seeing now in the U.S. military.
Right.
And
Off the shelf.
Yeah, I won't give all the credit to Hegseth, but Raising Cane's probably got a little bit in there. But getting rid of the bureaucrats that were in there, these it's taken a while to get rid of all these Obama generals that he appointed while he was there, to get rid of I'm not saying they're all bad, but a lot of them were bad. They were, political appointees. Getting rid of those and getting back to, getting back to the war fighting, getting back to being more frugal with taxpayer money. And I think that's what Hegseth has brought to the table. And I think General Kane is versus the ones we had before. And that's why, when people see one of these generals pushed out, because there's been a lot of them, there have, with the DEI and all those things, it's like, you're gone. You've seen these admirals and generals, like, time to retire.
We see it in the news because it's a bad mark on Trump and that to them. But we didn't watch the ones that were pushed out by Obama and Biden.
No.
And they did.
Right.
Well, the ones that wouldn't accept DEI and wouldn't accept guys in dresses.
A lot of them just said, yes, I'm out of here. And that's what generals are supposed to do.
Yeah.
If you present your opinion to the president or whatever, and they don't take your suggestion, and not minor suggestions, but if they're really going off track, it's your responsibility to step down, because obviously they don't have the trust and confidence in your judgment. But, so when I see some of these admirals and generals that have been pushed out over the last couple of years, it's like, well, good. Yeah.
We're having new ones right behind them.
Yeah, exactly. And when one general goes out, the pyramid, people in the pyramid rise up, and you get these young bucks, because you have to be young in the military to be young and fearless. And you see them rising up. So it's a good thing. So every time I see one of these Obama generals or admirals, the ones that are and a lot of them have been the ones that are supporting trans and pushing DEI. And I told you I work for DHS. I've seen what happens. So some of these DEI hires, people that come in and because they're black or they're this or they're that, were hired and they don't know anything about what you're doing.
No.
And that's not the way you're supposed to hire people.
The only place it didn't really hurt was air traffic control because they put all the DEIs into school, but they didn't pass. So we never got them into.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
we're short, but we don't have incompetence.
Yeah. So in air traffic control, I had 4 air traffic control units underneath me, but it is a stressful position. I mean, you make one mistake, well, look, the fire truck hitting the airplane. Yeah, you can make one mistake, and you really have to know. And thank God the Secretary of Transportation is looking at modernizing, because literally within our air traffic control centers, they're passing pieces of paper with flight numbers and stuff from one person to the next. I mean,
but they need a rebuild of the whole system.
Yes, and it's going to take.
They're working on
years.
floppy drives on some of them.
I know.
Some people don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm a pilot, and I've seen mistakes.
Yeah,
but most of it, is real simple, where the pilot just asks for, clarification.
Yeah,
and it comes back, because pilots are in command of their plane.
Yeah.
And fire trucks are in command of fire trucks. And generally when something happens and there's a miscue, both of them are going to notice it.
Right.
But that one didn't. And that was a weird one.
Story we were talking about, Russ Jones was up at Sky Harbor, and I was sitting there and waiting to get on an airplane, private airplane, and Russ had been cleared to move up when he was taxiing.
Right.
And there was a commercial jet in front of him who gunned the engines.
Oh no.
Russ's plane went straight up in the air, nosed over, and head down into the runway.
Damage?
Oh yeah. There's nothing he could do about it. They cleared him to move up, and it wasn't safe for him to move up.
Wow.
I
would question that.
Yeah, and Russ had to go through all kinds of things, but that was the air traffic controller who was running the ground. That was their fault. And thank God Russ wasn't hurt.
Right. That could have been worse.
Yeah, but I saw that and it's like, oh my God, because his plane just kind of went up and hovered in the exhaust for a second. Yeah, it was probably 20 feet off the ground. And then, of course, the nose is heavier. As soon as the jet turned, the exhaust dropped off. He just went nose down into the runway.
He should have feathered those props up.
Well, he was
shocked, didn't know what to do. I mean, you don't get trained for that.
Yeah, he was trying, but the jet exhaust just picked his airplane.
Oh, it will.
And it was.
You don't want to mess with that.
Yeah, it wasn't going forward or backwards. It just went straight up like a Harrier.
And that air traffic controller could move another jet there. Probably it's not going to lift another 737 off the ground.
But whatever I don't remember what kind of
he has twins. He's got
it wasn't the twin, it was the single.
Oh, he had it's a 182.
182, yes.
I've flown that plane. Did he total it?
No, I think they repaired it.
Okay.
But but that was, and that's why air traffic controllers have to go through all that training. And again, it's a stressful position. It's not it's rare when you get somebody that goes 30 years in that field.
I guarantee you, if they did that to Russ again, he said, "No, I think I'll hold here." There's and generally that happens because they all look after each other and they look after their own plane. They're not going to put it in damage, and of course, that can happen though, just like it did on that fire truck.
Yes, yeah. And
if you're running the fire trucks, I know those guys look left and right before they pull out anyway, even if they got clearance.
Yeah. So I think that for an accident to happen like that, there were multiple
it's a few things.
And I heard that stop thing got stepped on, and that's why it didn't get through to the fire engine.
But air traffic controls can make a thing, and that's why it's so important to rebuild that system. The system should be more automated.
Yes, absolutely. We should not be passing pieces of scrap paper with flight numbers on it.
And more automation on aircraft contacting tower and stuff like that. Some of that routine stuff can be dropped because of the automation. And they've been talking about that to the pilots for years.
Right.
That you could start, being able to make initial contacts and stuff through the system and not have to, necessarily talk directly to the air traffic controllers till you get into the patterns and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll see what they come up with.
Yeah.
Don't know. Speaking of building stuff, you remember Voyager?
Oh yeah.
Voyager took off in the 1970s or something. When did that thing? 1977 was when Voyagers took off. They're still communicating. They're still out there. They did this. It's been 49 years, and they've traveled space more than 15 billion miles from Earth, and it's starting to run out of power. So they keep shutting down equipment. They had 10 original instruments on the plane, on the satellite, whatever it is, and they've been shutting down systems to keep what power they got left, because I guess they're not as
Right.
close to the sun or whatever is
Yeah.
giving it all to
Well,
them. But
I like. So that was one of the early Star Trek episodes.
yes, I remember
Yeah. Voyager.
it came back.
Yes.
It came back bigger and badder.
Some alien reprogrammed it and
Yeah.
updated it and sent it back to
It
us.
came back.
Yeah.
Engineers are confident that shutting down the LECP, whatever that is, will give Voyager 1 about a year of breathing room. And they are using the time to finalize a more ambitious energy saving. They're still working on these things and giving it information to shut things down and what to do. But I'm surprised. I mean, how well built was this thing?
Yeah. I
That
know.
49 years later, they're still getting signals from it and still giving it back out. I don't know what good it is, but
See, well, NASA does some things right. They
course.
do some things great.
we haven't seen anything like it since, have we? Something like a Voyager?
Well, we had the Voyager was a whole series of exploration.
I thought there was only 2 of them.
I don't know. Well, that's a series.
Okay. Yeah, there's only 2 of them, but they
Away and
still-
Away series. Yeah.
they didn't expect it to last this long.
Oh yeah. I know.
Realistically, they thought
Yeah.
it'd be done, but it's still chugging. It's still chugging along, and
Well, if you have good solar panels and that kind of stuff.
they explain here the type of energy it uses, but they think that they might be able to turn some of these units back on if it gets more power. So
Mhm.
obviously it's gathering power as it goes along.
Yeah.
But they got to keep the heaters up because they can't let the aircraft get cold. It may never restart.
Right.
And so some of it goes into the heating and keeping the fuel lines and stuff at risk.
Yeah.
How can it at 49 years still be going out there?
Yeah.
Is beyond me. And what are we really getting from it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to ask Dean that. He's a scientist that looks at that.
Well, I guess I'm trying to remember what the sensor package on that is, but it's got to have like cameras and
It
some
did.
other things on there.
I don't think it does anymore, but I remember when it went out like Saturn and around that and all that stuff, and we got back pictures and stuff that we never had before.
Yeah, and maybe we're hoping that and some extraterrestrials find it and
Brings it back?
rebuild it, brings it back as Voyager.
Like Star Trek.
Hey, we got our phones from Star Trek.
But I think it
flip
became
phones and all
dangerous
that
after
stuff.
that. I think it was dangerous.
Yeah, but they tamed it, so it was
Yeah.
all good in the
Oh,
end.
at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Captain Kirk got to take care of.
World peace at the end.
Well, it's 15 billion miles from Earth, but they can still communicate. It takes 23 hours to arrive.
That's amazing.
But that's not that long. I would think, it's 15 billion miles away.
Yeah.
23
Well,
hours.
I was impressed in Artemis. I guess they use lasers to communicate.
Yeah.
But
that's direct line of sight.
I do wish that NASA would, again, talk about SpaceX, because SpaceX camera work on their launches and
Oh, it's
going
wonderful.
in orbit is amazing. And we're spoiled by that. So NASA needs to pick up that trick from Elon and
Well,
get that in their launches.
And-
They did much better than they've done in the past, but
and Elon, and in particular on this, the big rocket that they've been shipping up,
Starship, yeah.
Starship, they have so many cameras on because they want to see how all the systems are working, how everything's working, what's breaking down.
Yep.
And that's how they're building this thing. The testing is in live mock-ups.
Yeah.
Let's put it in there and see what happens.
I know. Well, what I'm hoping he does, he's got to do the aerial refueling and the full orbit and all that kind of stuff. But what I hope he's doing is like, well, he just launches one. It's like, well, let's just send it to the moon and see what happens.
Yeah. Did he?
No, that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
I
you
want
wanna
him
see
to
him do
do.
that?
Yeah. It's like, okay, we're going to do
I'm-
our outside space flight. And he goes, well, let's go launch it at the moon and see if we
I-
can land it.
I really,
Put some-
they keep talking about sending Artemis to the moon, all that.
Yeah.
I think Elon should be there to take pictures of them landing. So they can say, okay, this is the first moon landing in so many years. When Elon should be there already. Taking
Well,
pictures.
yeah, fill the cargo compartment up with freeze-dried food and water.
And
'cause they
send the
can make
robots
anything
over
out
to
of it.
them.
Yeah, exactly. Just send that out there so it's pre-positioned, so in case anything ever goes wrong in the future, they can just go, well, there's a SpaceX thing here. There should be some water and all
Well,
that stuff.
we
there.
got it for you, buddy.
Put it in
It's over
those bladders like they do for the Indianapolis 500 cars and stuff like that, so it can survive anything. Yeah.
My fact checker sent us, we were talking about the counties. Texas has the most counties at 254.
Right. Yeah.
And then it's Georgia at 159.
Okay.
So there is no consistency throughout the country.
No, there's not.
Arizona is one of the ones with the largest, man.
Right.
We're-
With only
we're big.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously it was 14 before La Paz.
Right.
And we just cut off the part of the Yuma County that wasn't as productive. It just seems wrong, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
Did they want it that way? I mean, the people that live there, I guess so.
Yeah. Well, I guess so. It must have been some
They felt
sort
like
of
we felt about Maricopa.
yeah, must have been some, and it was the same thing. But I mean, back then Yuma was probably 20,000 people.
Yeah, and it probably a dirt road to get to La Paz.
Yeah. Yeah. And La
Things are
Paz
better.
County had to be like 2,000-3,000 probably. I don't know. It's not I don't think it's 20,000 yet. I think it's
I mentioned that one of the states had that Florida had a rule within their own constitution that you couldn't draw a map just to benefit a party.
Mhm.
And so Edward actually sent me a list of those states. He said these states have had courts rule that maps cannot be drawn simply to help. He doesn't say constitution, but courts rule. It says Pennsylvania State Supreme Court struck down partisan congressional maps. North Carolina courts previously struck down maps through rulings have changed over time. Florida fair districts amendments ban favors a party incumbent. That's the way I thought about Florida. And it was an amendment. In Ohio, constitutional reforms require fairer maps. And New York state constitution includes anti-gerrymandering language. Rules in the Constitution, California bars favoring or disfavoring an incumbent candidate or party. Well, they're breaking that rule.
They broke that one wide open. Well, California already was really bad. And so when they
Yeah.
tried to do it again, they couldn't make it much worse. But like we had talked about, I don't remember if we were off air or on air, but some of those districts, they may not go blue like they thought, especially now that Newsom and the Democrat mayors and stuff has screwed up that state even worse than it was.
When you just didn't think it was possible, this guy has talents you didn't know about.
Yeah. I mean, talk state being $1 trillion in debt. That's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I didn't even know the word trillion until the last couple of
Yeah,
years.
and they're doing all they can to chase all the billionaires out.
Yes. And New York's right in lockstep.
Yeah, I don't know what Illinois stands on that, but they've done their fare of getting rid of people. Caterpillar left Illinois, and
Yeah.
some major ones. Colorado bars intentionally favoring or disfavoring an incumbent candidate or party. Florida says districts may not be drawn with intent to favor or disfavor a political party or incumbent. Hawaii bars favoring or disfavoring a person or party, which Hawaii's all Democrat anyway.
Well, no, it's not. So what's interesting is the locals, the Hawaiian natives are conservative. They're very Christian. They're that Mormon, whatever it is. Mormon church is very big in Hawaii, and
Really?
the native Hawaiians are very conservative. But the problem is that they've been populated by Asia and Japanese and all these other places, and they are the ones that are the liberals.
Okay.
And they outnumber, of course, Honolulu is by far the biggest city, and they by far outnumber the native conservative Christians that started Hawaii, and they are not happy about it.
I never heard that before. Now,
They've been invaded by immigration, basically.
we should have learned those lessons.
Yeah.
Edward is married to a native Hawaiian girl.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even know she was conservative.
Yeah.
I'll have
LDS
to-
Church is very big in Hawaii. Yeah. They run the is it the Hawaiian Village, whatever it is, but they run a big village there. But no, that's interesting. So I didn't know she was Hawaiian.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. What Nicole reminded me of. So our Uber driver was Hawaiian.
Is that where you?
Our last trip to Hawaii?
So you got a lot of
he
inside information.
He gave us an earful full about. Yeah, he goes, when the elections came out, they had all these pro-Trump banners going up on the bridges. They were all put up by the native Hawaiians because they do not like the
Democrats.
liberals. Yeah, it's because they're Christian values.
Let me see others. Idaho bars, favoritism. Michigan bars, intentionally favoring or disfavoring. New York bars, intentionally favoring or disfavoring. Ohio bars, favoring or disfavoring an incumbent. And Washington bars, intentionally favoring or disfavoring party. Wow, a lot of those states do it, though. Well, we'll see what goes down.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I think the Virginia throwing out that election, I think that one's cooked.
We'll see.
They did so many things wrong by the Constitution. I can't imagine any
Well,
judge saying it's okay.
The judge did it on one thing, I think, but it's going to appeal. And of course, they're all very confident we're going to win the appeal, but everyone does that or they don't.
Yeah,
You know, it's
I
just
don't think the Virginia government, I don't think Spamberger's confident that they're going to win because I mean it's right there. I mean I just quoted I think 3 things that were against their constitution that they violated. So
Edward also tells me Voyager 1 is now just down to 2 operational science instruments out of the original 10. They got a magnometer. Instrument measures the strength and direction of magnetic fields in the interstellar medium, helping scientists map the straitjacket of magnetic forces outside our solar system.
and help us map where those planets and stuff out there.
Probably.
Yeah.
And then we've got a plasma wave subsystem. This instrument listens to plasma waves to determine the density of the interstellar gas. It provides the famous sounds of interstellar space when Voyager 1 first crossed the helisphere.
Okay.
Or helipause.
And I think do I remember that we put there's a plaque on it and some other things?
There's a record in there.
Yeah.
Of Jimmy Carter.
Is that who it was?
Yeah, Jimmy Carter. He sings the oldies. No, it's
good one. Jimmy Carter sings the oldies.
Yeah, no, but it's supposed to have some sounds like famous Bach or Beethoven or something, and some other his history of Americana on a it's a big like a 33 and a third type album.
Yeah. If they could figure out how to make that work.
Well, apparently it probably has a player, I would think,
maybe
if you're going to do that.
Yeah.
And this comes from another listener. Voyager 1 is powered by 3 radiostope thermoelectric generators, RTGs, that converts heat from the natural decay of plutonium-238 into electricity.
Oh, so it did have a nuclear.
Yeah, it's a nuclear type deal. And I guess that was in my article, but I forgot about it. I didn't catch it. But yeah. So I don't know how long that can go.
Yeah.
But somehow they think that they might be able to switch something back on if they get more power. So whatever this plutonium's doing, it's they think it might do more of it later. I don't know how they can
trying to remember if Voyager had solar panels or it just relies on a power plant.
From some of the pictures I remember, I think it did have solar, but
I think so. Yeah,
but
they're probably old technology, but sometimes old technology lasts a long time.
Well,
yeah,
out there in the wilderness for 49 years, you would think it's hit a rock or two or something.
Yeah, you would think.
I have no idea.
I was surprised 'cause I don't know where I was, but I didn't know that Artemis had solar panels on it. I mean, it makes sense, but 'cause a lot of the other ones I think did not. I don't think the Apollo had solar panels, but
I don't remember.
I don't remember, but yeah, I was surprised. But it makes sense.
But the Skylabs and stuff, they've all had solar,
right?
They've all run, and Musk is talking about putting data centers into space. That would be solar driven and not need energy.
Makes sense. Or you could put a nuclear power plant on it, can power as
long
as
I hear that, but I know there's always a hesitation to launch a nuclear power plant. but at least that's what I've heard. I don't know if they
As
probably
long
do it
as
anyway.
I think you could design it where it would, in such a package
Encapsulate.
that encapsulate it or something where, but then if it ever did start decaying, the orbit started decaying, that would burn up in the atmosphere.
I don't know how you do that, but that's why I just put it in bubble wrap so it'll bounce
There you
when,
go.
when it
Yeah.
hits. We don't
Yeah.
want it to hurt
And that was
anybody.
also the reentry of Artemis, the way instead of doing a direct reentry, they did that bounce reentry. And I always thought if you like bounced that you were like gone, you couldn't get back, but they bounced it off the atmosphere and then did a reentry, they bounced it to slow
then-
it down, and then they went up and then they did a
Yeah.
reentry.
And
That
it worked.
Yeah, and it worked.
I liked it when it was coming in. They said, now they get to try the new heat shields. I'm like, wow, it's
Well,
a heck of a time to try it with
yeah.
people on board.
Well, on the first capsule, the heat shields were failing.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's what was interesting. That's why they had to do this bounced reentry instead of the direct reentry.
Musk has had his problems with the heat shields too. I mean,
Mhm.
he's been trying to figure it out. And
I heard he switched from ceramic to some type of metal.
right. I don't know how
Yeah.
that works.
I don't know.
And no, Voyager does not have.
Voyager does not have solar panels?
No.
Okay.
My fact checker's been throwing me tons of information on Voyager. He likes space,
Yeah.
He definitely does.
Yeah.
Voyager golden record. It is the gold. They got a gold record.
See,
Literally.
so Trump had an influence even way
literally.
back then.
Yeah.
That's right. It is. I do remember now that he says that.
And
Gold.
it came to mind after he put it down. It's
Yeah.
like, that's right. It was.
Yeah.
And that's probably real gold. I don't know if it's gold
Do they
plated.
have a record player on there?
It has to have. He's put a list of what all is on it.
Okay.
It's greetings from 55 spoken salutations in 55 languages, printed messages from U.S. President Jimmy Carter. So he doesn't sing the oldies. Sounds of earth, natural and human made, wind, thunder, birds, whales, calves, heartbeats, footsteps, trains, rain, a kiss, laughter. Wide cultural range of music like Bach,
Mhm.
Stravinsky, Chuck Berry, Johnny B. Good.
Hey, there you go.
Blind Willie Johnson. I don't know him.
He's an old-
Azerbaijan folk music, wedding song, Mozambique wedding songs, Georgian choral music, Navajo chant.
Is that what's on the record?
Yeah, all this is on the record. So,
Okay.
man, these guys are going to be listening. So, what the heck is this crap? Georgian choral music, Navajo chant, Ghanaian drumming, Indonesian gamelan, Sanghalese procession, spoken instruction to earth, Alchem, Egyptian, Sumerian, Akkadian, historical recordings, examples of human languages, human sounds, and instructions for playing the record. Well, wait a minute. How can you get the instructions for playing the record until you play the record?
Is
I
there a
don't know.
So is there a record player on there? That's the
there has to be.
yeah.
Records are original in how to play it, so it's there. Yeah,
Yeah.
photographs, 150 images, human anatomy, family life, food, architecture, landscapes, animal scientific information, DNA, solar system maps, showing Earth's relative. Why would they tell them where we are?
Well, it's a 50-50 shot. Whether they're going to come here and
They're
be
gonna- they're
nice
gonna
or
come here,
come
so-
here and be
well, look,
an Ayatollah.
one thing we do know about Earth, they've got gold. Let's go. Location relative to pulsars, scientific information encoded in images of audio, binary instructions mapped to sun via pulse map. Brainwave recordings of Anne Duran and other speech snippets, poetry, excerpts, Persian, English, printed symbolic key and instructions for receiving messages from the record.
There you go.
Wow. I knew there was a lot of stuff on it. I did not know all of that.
Yeah. Well, there's probably in a small package, small record. Yeah. But it is.
Another listener said it's an interstellar space. The solar panels would not work too far from the sun.
Well, but there's more sun.
They're
other
going
sun.
towards another one.
Yeah, but they're always, I mean, stars
Yeah.
are suns, and sun's just a star. So Yeah,
So,
interstellar space, they'd still pick up something, you know.
well, visually, maybe not enough to
if it's
power
go-
or anything.
right?
maybe,
If it's
yeah.
going towards another solar system or
I
something.
imagine it's
don't know.
quite a sight. Too bad they can't get pictures because
Yeah.
you're not going to be, you're not going to have an atmosphere to interrupt the stars.
Well, we have Hubble, but yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that's what they should do is send Hubble on following the Voyager or something. I don't know.
Imagine they could take a picture of it.
Yeah.
But what's the next one after Hubble? Hubble's obsolete now. It's still
Right.
working.
Yeah.
But they've got a bigger, better, brighter one that's up there now. I forget the name of it, but
Oh yeah, there's another one. I didn't know
Yeah.
there's another Hubble
Yeah,
type
that's-
thing.
well, yeah, but it's got a different name. We're out of time, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. 3 hours goes quickly.
it does.
I didn't
You
really
got,
cover very much.
you got all the fact checker information. We talked about
It-
Voyager and
Oh,
Starships.
which I
and
find
SpaceX and
interesting. I
NASA. Yeah,
like.
Me too.
I like all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it's good.
And I was around in the 70s. I remember it,
Right.
but I didn't think to Google it all. Man, he helps me with my research. It's
Yeah.
very needed.
Yes.
Greg, thanks so much for coming
All
in.
right.
I'll be back
Thanks,
on
Russ.
Monday. Have a great weekend.